Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Echoes of Stardust CSG, or Cursed Sea Gem. I will be your DM and dragon for the day, as normal. And today I am joined by most of the team currently, though we will have some more people that will be joining us. We'll say not this session, but definitely in the future as I start the music here. Um, Yes, we'll have more on that as things get kind of figured out, but looking like we'll probably have another 2 to 3 people joining us regularly. So, that'll be fun. Though I'm sure they'll add some spice to the team for an already, of course, very spicy team as we have come to know and love. This will probably be the last portion of Act 1 of the campaign. We will, of course, be very quickly back with Act 2, but yeah, we got some stuff to go through before we get to that point, but it's definitely been a journey. Wouldn't you all agree so far for Act 1? Been a fun little journey. And we still have a lot of fun in store cuz I have some fun things planned for this little mini finale, we'll say, of Act 1. Some things that nobody is expecting. I will guarantee you that. But yeah, well, let's go ahead and get into things. Of course, if you do not know what this is and you just like to know what it is as you're listening in, this is Dreamforge tabletop role-playing game. Some of us are developers, other of us are just friends and acquaintances of the developers here. Of course, I am a developer myself. But Dreamforge TTRPG is a sci-fi fantasy themed tabletop role-playing game that is based on a D20 system, and it's got a little bit of some things that kind of might feel similar to things like Starfinder, Pathfinder, what is it, Call of Cthulhu, sometimes called Cock. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Or D&D, of course, the tried and true old school. But it is our own system that's basically built using different ideas and stuff like that we have from different experiences we've had in those games and such. So a little bit of some cozy similarities, but also some inventive new ones as well. But generally, besides all that shit, we actually are just doing this little live demo play, I guess you could say, campaign, so people can get a feel for the game and go ahead, and if they'd like to be interested, or if they are interested and like to try it out, they can actually do so. So in our description box below, you can find our links to most of our socials, and one of our main ones being our Discord is where most of our community is. It can be a little cozy, quiet place, but can be spicy depending on what things are happening. I know we're getting ready for a big event. I believe when this session comes out, will probably be a week, if not 2, out from that event happening. I won't fill this too much with a lot of preamble because I'll probably do a video specifically talking about the event and stuff we'll be at, but we are going to be at Origins Game Fair doing the Unpub game test where you can come on by and try to just play Dreamforge for a little bit. It'll be a little mock combat and ask questions and meet some of the developers there. I don't have the full details. I know we'll be there Thursday, probably midday, around 1:30 or so, for the first play test. I think we'll be there another day, but we're still figuring out when that'll be. Or we'll be there playing, I should say, hosting games. We'll be there throughout the event, but that will be the only time currently that we'll be hosting games. But in general, you can meet us there. And of course, if you'd like to play without going to the whole event and such like that, you can do so by going to that Discord where our community is, and you can find a bunch of different players that might be interested in joining up with you to go on things, and maybe a DM or two. We're actually kind of working on trying to fast track getting some DMs and players more directly kind of connected to each other, so we can speed up that process a bit, because we are having a little bit of issues with that, I would say, just like kind of getting people organized, but that's being worked on right now. So in any case, I've said enough about updates and things like that. We'll go ahead and get started here. So, let me go and check something. I do not need that up. Alright. I don't know why that page broke. Oh, no, now it is. Okay. So let us begin with a little recap, shall we? For what happened in the last session. The operation to thwart the intent of the Chimera and their masters in Moga has come to a close, with some rather shocking discoveries that will continue to unravel as we begin today. While Solani has been successfully subdued, and the party is now, well, currently, I should say, making their way back to the secret meeting point that they had planned with their Lilel tribe contacts. The battle against the gargantuan sea monster has decimated, we'll say, some of the forces. We'll say probably most of the forces in the Moga area. This has kind of left the area a little bit in a standstill and somewhat of a eerie quiet, with many wounded being left, as well as forces scattered around. The storm that was once bellowing above everyone's heads has kind of begun to clear, at least at this point. It is beginning to become like early-ish mid-evening, but again, still kind of the echoes of that storm is bellowing, so they're kind of seeing the breaching of light through the clouds at this point. Sorry, throat. The party is currently taking advantage of this moment, however, lying low as they attempt to avoid any unwanted attention from both the Chimera that are remaining of the Scorned Seas, as they now heard the name of their group, as well as their own allies in the Guild and Consortium forces, because they aren't exactly doing something that they would like to be caught doing at the moment. And this is where, of course, we will begin today, as the echoes of Stardust, with their Lilel contacts, or en route to their Lilel contacts, and their potential ally in Solani, are heading there. But we have a little bit of some information to delve into, as where we last directly left off, with Solani following the party down into the kind of central area of the ship, where everyone's kind of sitting down. There's not really a war room in this ship directly, it's just kind of like a large kind of like empty area expanse in the middle of the ship, and then the lower decks, with like some sectioned room for like weapons and such. Weapons and like sleeping. But yes, as everyone is now making their way down there, Solani, the last thing she kind of mentioned was how, well, about who that was they saw towards the end of the session, as well as the fact that I remember what that thing that they fought was. So, setting this up, all of you at this point are down into the lower decks. Some of the workers that are part of the cleaner uppers are kind of like getting things like patched up they got kind of cracked or roughed up during your combat against that monster. For the most part, your ship did suffer some pretty serious damage, but they're kind of quickly taking like wooden planks and metal plates and just slamming them down on top of where the cracked areas are, kind of keeping enough weight and pressure on them to not have certain things bow in. It definitely was a lot more dire, it would probably have seemed, until a couple, maybe like about 20 or so, or probably 10 or so minutes ago, after they've kind of gotten a handle of things. The deck is a bit slick, or this area I should say is a bit slick moist with some of the water residue that was kind of making in the ship, but there's a bunch of towels and stuff around that mostly are keeping some of that to a minimum, at least now. Rebecca at the moment is still helming the ship, and also along with them is who was it? Actually, along with them is Gathor, it seems, who's kind of wants to get a little bit of air right now. They feel like they've been cooped up in the ship too long, so they're doing that. Magellan is popping in and out of rooms, kind of helping like make sure the cannons are loaded just in case there's more straggler water chimeras. You've heard them kind of mention every now and again that like they've seen movement in the water, and they're making sure it's not any chimeras chasing after you, or it's just like regular fish and stuff. So far, nothing crazy, no weird close calls yet, but they're keeping an eye out. Yeah. As for the rest of you, you're all kind of sitting down against things. What is it? Not Brisk. I'm sorry. Breeze is currently inside of a barrel of water. Has been lifted down here, and he's just kind of sitting, chilling in the water. As you know, he has a disease he's developed from the attack that has left him a little bit quenched, we'll say. Also, by the way, if you hear a striking of lightning and thunder outside, it is currently storming. So, hopefully our power doesn't go out or anything like that. But, we're going as best as we can.
This is the most flooding I've seen in a little bit.
Yeah, it is pretty bad outside. But yeah, we'll keep going as long as we can. So, yeah, that's where all of you are sitting and resting. Starsha is probably crossed her legs, currently sitting down, her tail kind of flowing behind her. Taramela has got her arms crossed, leaning on like a one of the the pillars, columns in the ship. Fari as well is sitting down kind of between the two, in a chair that she's propped up. Fel is currently carrying after Breeze, making sure that he is okay, as she is very worried about him and the situation. Who else would be around? I think for the most part, that's kind of like outside of the rest of you that are probably doing like just sitting down or standing up, leaning on something, and just kind of waiting for Solani, who is leaning against the wall, looking over at all of you now. Probably just waiting for her to continue speaking at this point. I don't know. What would you all be doing anything necessarily at this moment differently?
I don't think so. Kinda waiting to hear what she was gonna say before we ended the last time. Also, I'm taking a look at it. Were our encounter totals changed? Because I feel like it might.
No, I don't think it was for the last encounter. No. I have to fix that.
That last encounter was my next roll. I'll do that later.
I should have updated that, but yeah, that has not been updated to my knowledge. I'll check that in between.
That's cool.
But yeah, so well, I guess homie probably probably gonna swinging his arms a bit, stretching. He got himself a good workout that last fight. Was grappling and wrestling a big fat Leviathan monster that managed to get away, but did not go away unscathed after the work the party was putting in and Starsha's new spell that was shown off towards the end there. What was it called? Not Lucent Crash. It's called Lucent Cascade Burst. Something that she needs a little bit of time to charge up, but definitely worth it, as you can see. Yeah. And yeah, actually, something about Starsha, I would say she's kind of been every now and again, like her hair on her back, or fur on her back and such, and part of her tail is still slightly jetted out, like it's arcing with a little bit of energy. It's definitely diminished since when she cast that spell, but there's like a little bit of loose lunar energy kind of arcing every now and again off of her. It's just something you note. Like she doesn't seem bothered or seem to even really be noticing it. Or if she is, it doesn't seem to, like I said, doesn't seem to be bothering her. But yeah, just something all of you are aware and can see, like visually see.
Oh, I want to touch it. I want to try and touch the little arc.
You kind of bring your finger over slowly, kind of as it's like every now and again, and then like as you touch maybe one of the like scaled crystal proportions on like her tail, there's like a little bit of a zap there for a moment. It kind of like, it's a weird feeling. It doesn't necessarily burn, but it feels like your muscle seizes up for a moment, and you almost have this feeling, Marliana, like your finger kind of goes limp, not because of like paralysis, almost like it feels like the energy drained in it for just a brief moment before you bring your hand closer back to your body. Starsha kind of her eyes kind of like roll towards you, looking like, why did you do that?
You're sparking.
She kind of looks at her tail. Huh, seems I am. Strange, I don't remember. It'll go down after some time. Yeah, Taramela kind of leans over and she's like, it sure will. I'm happy you decided to use something for once. She kind of rolls her eyes and looks back to looks back over to Solani and she says, that can wait. So, One Eye, what were you saying earlier? Solani looks over and she's like,
Crazy.
Solani just looks over like very annoyed, like, first off, don't call me that. My name is not One Eye. My name is Solani. She kind of looks up. She looks very annoyed at Starja for a moment, but then she kind of brushes it off. She says, and I was going to provide you something that you all require, it seems. Context. Starja nods. She's like, well, if you would, enlighten us. It seems that we're a little bit of a fish out of water in this circumstance. What is this Scorned Seas and this D individual? You mentioned a name before? She kind of looks to the side a little bit. Her expression's hard to kind of decipher. There's a bit of like, it's hard to tell. You think like maybe initially it's like disgust, not necessarily at Starsha, but like maybe disgust, a bit of like sorrow, slight guilt, maybe anger. It's like a mix of things as she kind of looks away towards the ground. She like looks back after a few moments. Right. I did say Theaton. Karina actually says, she kind of holds up a hand and they're like, before that, I had a question. Why did you work for them? I mean, it's kind of, I don't know how to put it, but, you seem like you didn't really want to, or moreover, maybe that's a hard thing to say, I don't really know you. I guess you didn't seem surprised when they came after you as well. You said something like, what was it, Jai? Marliana? I think she said something like, she expected it, or that was, so they're getting rid of her now? Karina, Jai? No, Jai, Marliana?
Yeah, I'm pulling at the memories.
Yeah. Damn, that is... I don't know if that's getting picked up on the mic, but that is some rain.
I don't hear any rain, so I think you're okay.
Okay. I believe Jai can probably hear it, though I don't know if Jai is actually here. Oh, they're muted.
Could you repeat that?
Which part?
I heard you mention my name, but it started raining kind of harder and I couldn't really hear you.
Oh, okay. The thing I mentioned was, Karina was asking why, what was it? Karina was saying, she was asking why they were working, or why she was working for them. Like, specifically, because she mentioned, it seemed like she wasn't, or what Karina said, I should say. I'm saying this from Karina's perspective, sorry. Karina had mentioned how they didn't seem surprised when the attack happened on them. They even mentioned, she remembers hearing that they mentioned something like they expected this, or I guess they're trying to get rid of her or silence her now. Almost like she wasn't planning on staying, or more like it seemed like she wasn't necessarily wanting to work with them. And she was confused, like, why she even did in the first place. And she was asking if, like, Jai and Marliana remembered if that's what she said, or if there was something else she said.
I'm not quite sure if Jai heard Solani answer
It
that
was
question.
during the time when Marliana jumped into the water, Jai after you, Jai, and then Solani transformed, grabbed both of you, and popped out of the water, and then transformed again. Might have been when you were kind of a little sleepy.
Above board, I was not awake for that.
Yeah.
I don't know because that's not in my notes.
Okay.
'Cause I was
Marliana?
Well, I've been looking at the wrong spot in my notes this whole time, so I don't remember any more than I did before.
That's fine.
Though what you just said sounded all familiar, but I don't remember.
They had like sequence of events. Yeah. She'll kind of
I'll
look.
roll in a recollection and try that.
Yeah, feel
But
free
that's
if you want to.
what I got.
But she'll kind of. I mean, she's hearing this, so she can respond as well, and she'll just
Sure.
say. She looks back over. She'll look over at Karina and say, I began working with, or rather, I began working for the Scorned Seas around 3 years ago. I wanted, well, like I told you when we first met, or met recently on the ship, I wanted revenge. Revenge against what the Consortium had done, or for what the Consortium had done to both Belphina and myself, alongside all the others they silenced over the years and during that time. She kind of like grits her teeth, like bearing her little bit of her chompers there for a moment in spite. She looks back towards the wall and says, "They had promised me more. Not just the act, but the tools." She kind of holds up her hand a little bit and like kind of clenches, or kind of grips her palm tightly. More tools to enact what I wanted myself.
Hey, you might want to pause. The power is flipping quite a lot. We might lose internet in a second. I don't think we're gonna lose power, but if it goes out for a second, it's not gonna end up.
Fair. Honestly, I think we just keep going. Screw it.
Okay.
And if it goes out, we'll deal with that as it happens.
Okay.
She says it's more tools to enact it myself. During this time, I had originally gone. Well, I did undercover, you could say, operations for them, mainly to aid in tailing vessels for the Scorned Seas to raid during storms, much like you saw today, actually. They would take the materials from them, and I would cover their tracks and make the situation seem like a rogue sea dragon or monster attacked the vessels, and people would be none the wiser. Well, initially, so she kind of thinks. Karina looks over and says, "So you were raiding?" She says, "So you were raiding a bunch of civilian vessels and such?" She kind of looks back and she says, Originally we were not going for civilian vessels or structures." Fari kind of like tilts her head in a little bit. Starsha kind of looks over and she'll say, "But something changed, I imagine." She kind of takes a deep breath, closing her eyes for a moment, and then exhales and looks back over. "I won't lie." One sec. What? Oh, okay. I was like, what was that sound? Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. There was someone trying to avoid a cat situation, and I didn't realize that's what that was. I thought it was the cat. But she will say, "I won't lie. It was a recent change. However, I learned that there may be more. There was more of that civilian attacking than was previously known to me. And I might have been complicit, and became complicit in some of it. As far as I was considered, or I considered after my procedure, the innocent was a term that was not exactly allotted to me. It was difficult for me to allot it to others. But even more so than that, it was difficult for a certain man. He was the one that changed our original course of things. Starsha kind of looks over at her. A man, you say? They call him the Prince of the Scorned Seas. That organization that I was part of. His name is Diaton. I've never trusted that man. Starsha looks over. Diaton. She just kind of thinks for a minute.
If I could roll on that.
Yep, you can. Feel free to roll a knowledge local regal. Anyone can if they'd like.
Yeah. Well, a 12.
I can roll.
Sure. Okay. 10, 12.
1 sec.
Yep. By the way, was your number just a flat 12?
Yep.
Alright. Would a recollection make that higher?
By 3.
Okay, then we'll give you a 15. Because you would have definitely done recollection if given the chance, and I didn't realize that was a recollection option. So, recollection or knowledge local regal.
I rolled a 16.
16. You don't... Was that for local regal or recollection?
I have a 7 in both, so. But I rolled knowledge.
Okay. You don't, in your time reading through different books and such, you don't recall hearing the name Diaton come up. It's not a very common name. In fact, the name nomenclature doesn't really sound familiar to you. It definitely has some ties to something you might think is like closer to like Aquian or Aquian or something like that. Maybe a primordial dialect too, but it's hard to distinguish, hard to tell. Though there is a familiarity, you think the title that she mentioned. I'm just going back to check it. The Prince of the Scorned Seas. Now, there are princes and princesses and stuff to certain empires and kingdoms around, right? For instance, like the prince, or I guess we'll say the queens and such of Dogma currently, after the passing of the late king, for instance. The naming convention of like a prince or something like that is definitely something that is still seen throughout this era. However, the Prince of the Scorned Seas. Now, you don't recall hearing about anything Scorned Sea related, but using a little bit of a process of elimination, knowing this is something related to Lapsus, the only thing that it kind of pokes at is the stories you've heard long, long ago regarding to the people that fell, that the Tide Pack said that fell to the abyssal desires of the calls of the depths. Not because necessarily the Scorned Seas has come up as a naming convention, but like it's the closest thing to it. So maybe this has some connection to that, like some type of like old like title or old culture or society from back when the consortium was originally formed, like over 200 or so years ago, maybe even earlier.
I think Jai would mention that and ask if there was some correlation.
Well, as you say that, Marliana, you remember with that recollection, in most of your, you don't think about like what you've read about necessarily that has mentioned the name Diaton. You think about what recently has happened and if Diaton, the name, has ever come up. And then you make a connection. Starsha mentioned something about, you said somebody with a D name before. You actually have run into this. If I recall, and I have to check this, there was a person who signed something with the title of D that you saw.
Yeah, was that back in the cave?
Yes, it
Or
was.
Yeah, okay.
The pirates, or I guess what would it be called? The conjoined pirates and Altus people that like kind of came together after shenanigans, of course, endued with your party and others. They were getting some assistance. Avaro was getting some assistance from a guy named D in his notes.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yep. I'm pulling it up because this has happened a decent chunk of time ago, but I believe I wonder if I just type in. Yes, there was a client he was speaking with by the name of DT.
That fits.
And that he specifically said he was, and I guess DT in this case, is less than satisfied with Avaro failing to uphold their end of the bargain. As they provided them the BOS they wanted, however, they are failing to provide an ample diversion as they requested. That was what his main. That was the letter you found. And that he was given the other thing that wasn't necessarily confirmed, but also there might have been some ties to, was he was given the port. You can assume at least, or even I guess Starsha, if you vocalize this, would make this connection too. There was something else that kind of directly connects DT to Diaton here, like more viscerally.
Well, yeah, I definitely would have brought up the letter in the cave for sure.
Starsha will mention it then, as Jai is saying about as they're about to say that, or as they're saying this. Starsha would also say, "Right, I think that is our guy then. If you recall, Marliana, Avaro had a port crystal he used. Remember, he crushed it and tried to open it, and came out of that port crystal."
It was the Chimera.
She nods. It was. I think that's our guy. So this guy was working with Avaro? Distraction. And then Jai, that's when you said you'd mention the stuff about like the Scorned Seas and like maybe it has some tie to like old like lore of the consortiums, like way earlier, even like the beginning to before the consortium.
Yes.
Solani will look over and she'll say, "The Scorned Seas are indeed an organization that's been working in the depths, literally, of Lapsus for assuredly decades. I wouldn't be surprised if it's been centuries. Well, in some ways, I should say I know it's been centuries, but I don't necessarily know if the throes of what's happening has been in store for them." Father kind of says, "So who are they?" She says, "I understand them as a people, or you could say, a culture, a society which once had ties to the very seas of, well, all of Lapsus for centuries long ago. I don't know exactly what this entails, but they were wronged in some way, inexplicably, by the consortium, but no, more specifically, the Tide Pact and the Zhao family. She looks a bit at Marliana when she says that. When he spoke, he said your last name was Zhao. Are you she says, are you part of their lineage?
Wait, say that again?
She kind of says, when he spoke, he said your last name was Zhao. He said, and she says, are you part of their lineage?
That's Solani saying that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else here, well, just about everyone else here knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Marliano would kind of shyly say yes, or nod yes, I guess.
Felt kind of looks over like, what does her lineage have to do with this? Solani just kind of chuckles for a moment, but go ahead.
Jai mentions, she's estranged from her family, and she's so much stronger than them. Trying to lighten the mood.
Solani kind of looks over and says, If I were you, kid, I would find a bag and place it on your head and promptly leave Lapsus. Diaton has, we'll say, a personal score, it seems, to settle with the Zhao family, and I don't think he's exactly looking to spare any of them.
Well, I'm not openly saying that I'm a Zhao. Trying to make sure people don't know. But you've been so honest with us, I couldn't lie.
It says, well, be careful with that. Sometimes looks can be deceiving. That being said, though, whatever that grudge he holds is, it's for an act most heinous that often called the Tide's betrayal. I don't know the details of it or the full extent, but whatever this betrayal is, it's a well-kept secret among them. Even though I've been with them for 3 years, they barely even mention the specifics. But I can vouch for one thing, regardless of whatever it is. Their hatred for of current Lapsus, especially the Tide Pack and the Zhaos, that's not something that we'll just say, is not something that they leave unknown. Whatever your family did to them, kid, they're willing to burn. It seems like they might be willing to burn this entire country to the ground. Well, drown it, I guess.
Not that I think it'll actually matter, but could I try to roll and see if I know? Heard anything in the background, maybe?
Yeah, feel free. Roll recollection.
Alright.
While you're doing that,
17.
very nice. While you're doing that, what is it? Karina will, ask, so, who are these, mentioned the people, culture, I mean, the Scorned Seas? What are they, like? I mean, what are they, I imagine outside of the Scorned Seas they got another name or something, right? She says, I believe the Tide Pack has commonly called them something you all know, Gull, the subject of the terrors of the deep. It's like, that's, okay, that doesn't sound too pleasant, yeah.
So what do they prefer to be called?
She kind of thinks for a minute. Chal. They prefer the name Chal.
Okay.
Star just jots it down real quick.
Star says, she kind of says, so is, I should say, so Chal. So are they not terrors of the deep then? She kind of, Solani chuckles at this a lot. You kind of hear her kind of just, my dear, you should know that names tell a lot about a person. Perspective is everything. And that's, well, not just a person, but a group, but also that, let's just say the Consortium, and by extension the Tide Pact, aren't exactly known for their forthrightness and honorableness. In a sense, that's exactly why I'm asking you. No, they don't prefer to be called that, as said before. Gaul. They don't like that term. But also, their existence as the terrors of the deep. Let's just say, I don't know much about this terrors of the deep, past what I was brought up with. Sea monsters, creatures of the abyssal depths that skulk about, slaughtering and killing and pillaging any seagoers, coastal peoples that happen to glide by. Well, I think it's difficult to see that once you met some of the so-called terrors of the deep, and met others that would fit more of that title. I'm sure to them, the Tide Pack is the terrors to them. But I'm not even sure if that's entirely right. In any case, if you were to believe the Tide Pack stories, I wouldn't be surprised if you questioned my words. She looks over a bit at Felt and some of the others. They've made sure that to sully their names and existence as anything more than pure monsters of the depths. It almost makes me ponder. If the Consortium had learned their methods of, we'll say, decreaturization and inhumanity from them, or just for adding another page under the Consortium's overall ledger of, we'll say, ill-gotten or ill-intended acts. Karina says them. She's like, I mean the Tide Pack as them in this case. Well, regardless. No, they're not monstrosities in the water that look to pillage, defile, and slay any passerby. They're actually well acclimated, especially their society from what I can see. Obviously, they have a deep loathing for most of Lapsus. But they've kept up a rather recent low profile. Well, sorry, a low profile up until recently in the trenches. No, I won't tell you those trenches exactly either. Starsha kind of looks over. It could be helpful information, if they're in danger, like you said, from the Tide Pack. Kaz says, listen, honey, you might have helped me out in this one little thing, but I'm not going to spill my life story and secrets to you.
Understandable. It takes time to earn trust.
She kind of looks over, nods to you, kind of side nods to you, like in agreement. Starsha kind of says, well then. You said the Scorned Seas is doing this because of their hatred? It says, yes, I did say that, didn't I? She kind of looks to the side. Hatred. Alright, so that hatred once, just long ago, but...
Given things I know and things I've heard, I'm not so keen on immediately assuming the worst of them. I'd like to learn more eventually, given time.
Starsha kind of looks over and she's like, you do know that they killed almost everyone aboard the civilian vessel that we were part of, right?
Yes, but maybe there is a deeper reason why they're doing all this. Maybe once we find that, we can actually come towards some sort of rectifying the situation.
Deeper reason. She kind of leans over Solani. A deeper reason. I guess you could say that. Sorry, I can hear the. It's not your fault because I can hear it through on my end too. But the sound of someone pressing the car alarm button. It's just very funny because like it's just someone's kid being given the the car button and they're not taking it from them. Why they don't? Good question.
I love kids like blowing the car alarm like 4 hours a week.
Yep, it's fun. Anyway,
Good
sorry. So
reference.
sorry if you hear that in our version, in our audio. We can't really do
I
anything
shouldn't have
about
made that joke.
In any case, she would actually continue and not be distracted by that. Did you know that? No, did you know that every year, collectively, the people of the surface dump massive quantities of what would easily be considered raw sewage and magical waste into the trenches of Lapsus? She's kind of saying this in conjunction with what you said, Jai.
That makes sense. There's a lot of pollution.
She kind of looks over and shrugs. Hell, their refineries alone have been pulling up some massive quantities of pollutants as of late.
Phil, that alone is already enough of a reason for them not to like us.
You know, I heard that there was actually a little stay order on that. Or was it the initiative? I hear that that's supposed to be actually getting finalized now after the little incident in Memorum last year. Yes, well, I don't want to say too little too late, but let's just say they've been dealing with a lot. In fact, the Tide Pack alone makes up almost 50%. She looks over at you, Marliana. 50% of that waste, under the guise of safe disposal, of course, that they make quite a lot of money on, might I add. They take some of the waste other countries need to get rid of and easily dispose of it in certain trenches where, of course, they claim that they can cleanse the pollutants and such. But if I were to tell you, much like those in the Leviathan Strife group, they have posited for years, we'll say, the same thing, that they've been lying. The waste disposed of, or actually before I say that, would anyone like to make a check on Leviathan Strife? Also, Marliana, you got a 17, you said?
Yeah.
And that was for a check to see if you recalled anything about, like, the...
It was, the Tide's betrayal that Diaton was talking about. And honestly, it kind of just sounds like some of the stuff that she's talking about now. But the Tide's betrayal and the reason the Chal hate the Tide.
So the Tide's betrayal is not something you have ever really encountered as much in Tide Pack history or any of their books and lore. Some might say purposely. But there is an incident that might sound close to it, even if you don't know the description of the event. There is there's a reference to a betrayal, but it's directed towards the people of you remember the name, something depths. The shimmering depths of some kind, maybe? That was their name? It was the people that were once here alongside the Tide Pack that fell to the abyssal controls, or abyssal ties. It's believed that the betrayal was them falling to that dark, deep influence and fighting against the Tide Pack alongside the terrors of the deep, and ultimately becoming them and becoming the Gaul. Maybe that's what she's referencing? But it's not under the name The Tide's Betrayal. It's under the name of something else, like the Depths. The Depths, not Absolution. The Depths, what was it called? Something Succumbing. But it sounds like it might be something related to that.
Why don't they just fix the pollution?
The Tide isn't supposed to allow pollution. Oh, that was some of the old-fashioned things I was taught.
It was indeed. She kind of looks over when you say, "Why don't they just fix the?" That was what you asked, right? Why don't they just fix the pollution?
Yeah.
When you say they, she actually would ask. When you say they, who do you mean?
I don't know when we started. I mean, there's magic that means of purifying. Why don't they just?
You're right.
Purify
That
the
is.
water.
How much do you think it costs to get the materials required to set up installations for cleansing certain portions of the environment, especially after dumping for so long? Not just that, how much do you think it costs for to stop some of these, we'll say, these excavation efforts that provide fuel and other resources for these burgeoning nations recovering from a conflict, or even more, that are seeking to grow in spite of, after one.
If they did it from the beginning, it wouldn't be a problem, and we wouldn't have to waste more resources. Then
Starsha
it would
says,
be
it sounds
necessary
like...
to fix a problem that has been prolonged.
Sasha looks over at you and she says, I think the point might have actually been to have the waste. And Solani snaps her fingers. Bingo. At least to some extent.
Are they doing it on purpose?
Well, you mentioned, we have just mentioned that it wasn't exactly something that is unheard of to cleanse these things. Costly, yes. Time-consuming, yes. Something these nations could take the hit on and do, and something like the Guild that probably would consider. But that requires getting people to the table. People of these nations that have had issues historically, and some that might have a, we'll just say, undisclosed interest in keeping the disposal the way it is.
Makes sense.
Sasha just kind of
They
nods
might-
to that. Go ahead.
They're trying to keep them down. That's why they're throwing so much pollution there.
So you can, Sasha, or actually, not Sasha, who would it be? Fel will kind of ask. No, not Fel, sorry. It would be Karina. Karina would ask. So, but you said that you're saying that they wanted to do this to them? Says, well, disposed of, she says, that waste is disposed of, burning the Scorned Sea settlement in acidic material, as well as, we'll say, any Scorned Sea's people that try to rise to the surface in each hole that think they can potentially reach, are hunted religiously, almost, as abominations. You've heard of them, I'm sure. Miss, she looks over at you, Marliana. She doesn't know your name, she said Miss. She would just probably say Miss Zhao. You've heard of it as well, Miss Zhao, I'm sure. These depths, these terrors of the deep hunts that the Tide Pact frequently hosts.
I think Marliana, and I know as a player for sure, but
Yes, I think
I think
Marliana's heard of them, but she's never been part of them. She's just heard of them.
yeah, I will say, it's Marliana when she says Miss Zhao. She doesn't like that.
Yeah, no. Imagine your homes coated in bile and your people actively hunted as monsters. Wouldn't you be upset? She looks at you.
One more time.
Oh, she says, imagine your homes coated in, I'm sorry, my tongue. Coated in bile and your people actively hunted as monsters. Wouldn't you be upset? And she was saying that looking over towards, Homie. Not necessarily like an accusatory, just like, because you were the one that asked the question.
How would I feel if my people were?
Imagine your homes coated in bile and your people actively hunted as monsters. Wouldn't you be upset?
Yeah, but I'm also a visionary, so I'd be one of the people to find a solution instead of just letting anger control me.
You strike me as someone she kind of looks over. You strike me as someone with the decorum of a fighter. No. Are you a soldier, perhaps?
Yeah.
You're definitely not consortium. You're too free-spirited. Gara or Dog. She says maybe Gara or Charisse.
I was part of the Garlic military, if I remember right.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
you
part of
talked
both
about
Garlana's, the old country, as well as Gara, the current country. I assume you're just saying Gara, not Carlana. Right. I'm
How many
asking you.
eyebrows?
Hmm?
Saying Gar, not Garlana.
Yeah,
Garlana would raise some.
Some
Raise some
eyebrows.
eyebrows.
Okay, so just Gara, yeah. Just Gara. Oh, so maybe you could understand. I did hear that their coast was also burned by the Consortium during the last war. If anything, this is all the reckoning for the Consortium and Tidepack. Nay, you could say Lampsis itself. It might be centuries old in its start, but it's continued over the years. The guild may have come recently to rectify. She looks over at you, Jai, but there's a whole world below that's yet to even be acknowledged.
Maybe it's time someone mentions them, so that their cries aren't forgotten.
There's a lot of hate down there.
Perhaps maybe the first step would be calling them, if we all start calling them by the name they wish to be recognized by, instead of a slur.
Oh, it's fine. I think this is the perfect time to say it. That must be what those weird Aquians were. The Chaw. I think my uncle actually worked with some.
We gotta
Chaw
didn't manage. Go, sorry?
We gotta find out more about your uncle, Jaggy says to Malia.
Solani actually called it, so he kind of says, like, Chaw that managed to escape. I heard that was the case. Starsha kind of raises an eyebrow. Escape. She looks over. There are some Chaw that don't necessarily subscribe to the Scorned Sea's goals. Ones that would rather stay hidden but also wish to live dignified lives are not, we'll say, abused in perpetuity by the Consortium and Tidepack, but also not under the clutches of Diaton and his one. Which kind of says in his white whale. So, for those that, she says that for those that did, they tried to escape. Diaton keeps it quite under wraps along with the white whale, but besides that, or sorry, not besides that, but
Did I hear that right?
yes, you did. Starsha says. Yeah, Sargina's like wondering that as well, but she's gonna let her finish. She's saying like, but if they did manage to get out, that must mean that it's true the rumors about those temples. Then, I guess some managed to make it to your father. Oh, you're not father, your uncle. Though I can't. She kind of shrugs. I can't fathom them working with a Jiao. I imagine your uncle must have done some sort of convincing to be able to do that.
I honestly doubt it. He's not really in the convincing headspace.
From what you mentioned, he doesn't seem like he's anything like the rest of your family. And same with you.
He was kicked out of the Tide. Well, he was kicked out of his labs for being a little eccentric.
Eccentric, you say? Well, maybe he's just got a very interesting personality, we'll say. Maybe that's what drew them. I can't tell you. I don't know who it was, after all. But weird Aquians, that's a funny term. I'm not sure I know how they would react to that term being compared to the oppressors, but I guess it is in a weird way very humanizing.
How that happened. I'm pretty sure, Marliana didn't know they were Chol or Gol or anything.
No,
but I don't.
Marliana probably wouldn't know how it happened either. They just were there working, and he was like, watch the kids sometimes.
Marliana was there.
He was just like, hey, watch this kid while I'm out.
About the interactions that they had with each other, that hasn't been developed yet.
Nope.
I'd like to think at least one of them was close to Marliana, but
I mean, they watched you, like, when your uncle wasn't there. Like,
he was very neglectful.
Yeah, he was like, look, it's not that I don't care about you, but there are very pressing things I have to attend to. Goodbye.
Yeah. Look, as long as you're inside, you're safe because I know
Right.
I'm safe inside. So.
Exactly. All right. Watch this girl. I don't. You got it. You know how to care for kids. and then he pounced.
Honestly, I might just say that.
Yeah.
I think that sounds good.
Solani kind
But
of
yeah, that
looks
Mariana
over.
never knew they were different and never treated them any different. But she
Hmm.
could tell that they were because physically they were a little odd.
And says, I guess that's. He says, I wonder. Perhaps. Maybe not as weird as you seem to be as a Jow, but. Perhaps that's something that's worth a lot to them. In any case, Sasha says, wait up before you continue. What is this about a white whale you were mentioning? That's not Diaton, that's something else, right? Says, right, the one who technically leads the Scorned Seas. Officially, it's an elder beast, known as the White Whale, but I believe he has another name, it's Zeal or something. Like, honestly, perhaps it's the procedure in just this moment, but I can't actually quite recall it. Regardless, he calls most of the shots, though if you ask me, Diaton is we'll say another ringleader, but I think he has aspirations far past. You could call him a vizier if you wanted, some kind of mad scientist also works. After all, he is the one that made those things.
Oh, I guess that makes sense actually.
Starsha says those things, you mean the Chimera, yes, you're thinking right. She looks over. How? She kind of shrugs. Hell if I know. I was a guinea pig for a different type of procedure of his.
Was that what's up with your eye?
Missing eye right now? Yes. Thank you for asking.
Also, I'm sorry it came out so rough.
It's fine. Honestly, it's probably for the best. I took she kind of says, she looks over. She feels like with her hand where the eye, like, she has kind of been keeping that eye closed, but she opens it and there is like, it's dried blood, but like, there's the kind of hollowness in the eye socket. She kind of feels her, palms her hand over her, cups her hand over her eye for a moment. Just kind of thinking for a moment, not saying much before she relinquishes her hand from there and kind of keeps her eye closed but looks back. And she'll say, I took the place of another. To become one of the... Say it again. Are you saying something? I can't hear you.
It's one of those remembrance wounds.
Yes,
like one
indeed
of those,
it
like,
is.
Scars of valor, I guess someone would call them.
In her case, she'd probably see it more like shame at this point. But you're not wrong in the idea. It's just... No, I feel like I'll continue. I feel like this will explain. I took the place of another to become one of 3 special candidates that were part of a program of sorts, you could call it. I mentioned Diaton as a mad scientist of sorts. Diaton, in an attempt to understand how BOS function, implanted some form of special organ into all of us. Different places, of course. To give us certain attributes and abilities. I don't know what he gleamed, but all I cared about was the results, at least at the time. Unfortunately, I was unaware of his ulterior motives, or moreover, I was unable to deal with them, much as I wish or felt like I could. I thought my will was stronger. Stronger than his tools, stronger than his experiments. Instead, he made me a swimming feral beast to ring a bell at any problem the Scorned Seas had. Whether I wanted to or not. She, like, kind of grips her fists tightly. In my moments of fleeting lucidity, I did note a few things. Firstly, the procedure seemed to be different, like I mentioned, different than whatever those Chimera were. But also, I believe it was different than whatever reasons whatever the reasons were from that group that he got the BOS from originally. Well, stole, I guess I should say. The Risen, or whatever that group using the BOS calls themselves. Sasha kinda, like, holds up a hand, like, the Risen? She kinda says, right. I guess to a lot of people, that's a bit of a new term, isn't it? I think you guys have heard the Risen be used before, haven't you?
Yeah,
Recently?
because they have the different branches. Yeah.
Right. Because before you're just calling them BOS group, but the guild I think has now officially found out some of their names. It just hasn't been disseminated yet. It's a secret still, or it's not a secret. It's being disseminated slowly now. And she says, yes. See, whatever the reason the Risen were doing things was entirely they were attempting to achieve some type of entirely different result. I heard him while I was on the examination table with my eye ripped open, or my eye socket ripped open as he spoke. Somewhat disgustingly, but still. I believe he achieved something similar, something different. Second, Sasha looks like she's gonna say something, and she says, "No, I don't know what the reason either of them necessarily are. Specifically, I don't know the Risen's reasons. But secondly, the BOS in me seemed to lie dormant. How shall I say? I wasn't able to access it as much as I was hoping I would have initially. Well, willfully. One of two things happened that would cause a reaction. Either I could activate it under very, very strenuous circumstances, meaning I would have to almost put everything I had, spiritual energy as well as physical, into activating it, almost to a physical, we'll say a physical kind of. She kind of holds her hand to her chest for a moment, like towards her heart. He says, "We'll just say there was some unpleasant feelings to force a reaction. But the other way, equally as unpleasant, was that of Diaton and his damn scepter. A green crystal scepter that he wields with himself. When he did something with it, energized it, chimed it, or something, I lost all recognition and only saw foes. Foes to be hunted. Foes that wished to hunt me. Something in me felt the urge to slay all those Chimera and whatever Diaton was doing. Slay everything that was trying to hunt me. I can't tell you why, though, believe it or not. It was a visceral reaction, an instinctual one. Whatever he did to us, it seems like whatever scepter brings, it makes us hate, anger, hunt. Something we need to extinguish before it explodes into something else. I don't know. It's hard to explain." She kind of shakes her head a bit. It's hard to think about. Sorry.
That's okay.
Taramela kind of hasn't been quiet most of the time. She says, "No, you mentioned another person. You said another. Obviously that wasn't, I imagine, Diaton, or this white whale. Was it someone else you knew? You said, was there someone who was the person you took the place of? I mean, I'm curious." She kind of looks over to Taramela and says, "His name was Shellan. He had a large sentinel that looked after him, like a shield, you could say. He was a good kid. And, well, like I says, he really shouldn't have been wrapped up in all of this, honestly. I never met him in person, believe it or not. Only through scrying pools. But I think There's a slight. This is the first time you've seen this. There's like a slight smirk, almost. Like slight smile for just a brief moment before it subsides. I think I was his only real friend. Save for that sentinel that was always had his back, no matter what stupid decision he'd make. That kid really did grow on me. Maybe made me care more about things. I could see he had a troubled life, you know. She looks over at Taramela. She kind of says, "You seem like, despite your distance, you were closer." Anna says, "Of course, not in that way. Just..." I feel like I could understand him a lot, you know. He had a similar incident to my own. He didn't have his parents past an early age, and he found a sense of mentorship in the wrong people. Maybe, we'll say a father stand-in in the White Whale. He thought it would make a man out of him. In fact, She kind of shakes her head. Starsha asks, "Did he know about you taking his place, the experiments, Dia?" She says, No. He did not know about all this stuff. I never told him about the experiments, my plans of double-crossing Diaton and the organization. I didn't want him to know. I didn't want that baggage on him. He had suffered enough, and I believe he was looking to already leave after recent events. I did not need to be the catalyst for him staying. I did not need to torture him more. Besides, I think he got a taste of that stuff, and something caught up with him. I'm not sure really what's happened to him since the last couple of weeks, or the last month or so. I went out of contact with him a while ago, like I said, but... She looks up. I do hope he got away from all this. He was originally chosen by Diaton to be his special test subject. But before he could find out, I stepped ahead and volunteered in his place. Personally, I'm not sure if I wanted more power or to avoid watching something worse happen to that kid. She just kind of goes silent after that. Sorry.
I did have somewhat of a question, but not towards her, more for myself. When she started talking about Dietas and the experiments and the scars that were left on her, did it trigger any of my
memories?
Yes, and did my one scar on my stomach get a sensation?
No. However, something very odd. You kind of feel like this is just something that kind of, it almost feels like an ick. When she talks about her eye socket split open, being on an examination table, something just makes you feel unsettled. You don't think it's necessarily like you were like obviously there necessarily, but like you feel like uncomfortable. Something just doesn't, you don't feel right. You just feel kind of icky right now. It kind of goes the way as she starts talking about Shellen, but it was like when she was getting more viscerally into detail about the procedure, it just kind of, give you a bit of the heebie-jeebies.
I mean, I know what to do with the information, I don't know how to process it.
guess I'll go ahead and say then,
Hmm.
maybe we'll have to look out for this challenge person like we tried to look out for you.
He says if you do find him, he'll probably be with his sentinel, Kalanin. Try to... That kid, we'll say, can be difficult, but... He's got a good heart down there. And he's lost. A lot of people are. And he's young. He doesn't need to keep... He doesn't need to try to make up for things. He feels that he's done. It's okay for him to heal.
Well, it sounds like it was nice to have someone to look out for in such a rough spot.
Maybe. I'm still not sure whether people like me... I don't exactly know if we do deserve that. Sasha kind of says, looks over, deserve what? Someone that cares for us, or someone that we should look after.
Everyone deserves someone.
She kind of looks over. And I guess maybe I'd like to believe that, but I'm not sure I can. Sasha just says, so what's your plans then? Are you going to actually follow through and go with us? She says, well, considering I'm one eye down right now, my depth perception is not the best. Well, believe it or not, actually, I'm somewhat readjusting back to having one eye. But I'm not exactly in a unweakened state. I can barely use my spiritual energy outside of a few moments. It keeps sputtering and going in and out. Perhaps the results of removing that eye from my, or false eye from my noggin. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if removing it damaged some part of my spiritual vent. Could be irreparable damage for all I know.
Can I do it?
You cut
Soul
out.
something on her? I would just do soul sensing on her to find that out.
Yeah, you could.
I told you what to try.
Hey, look at
What
that.
the fuck?
Oh, alright. Well, as you do censor, there is kind of like, you kind of like, you close your eyes for a moment, you concentrate, and while normally you're not always the most spiritually sensitive, and this time, you open your eyes, they glow a bit, or they glint a bit, as you kind of get a more accurized version or vision of her form. And you can see, like, spiritual energy thinly across her skin, her armor, and her clothing, kind of just slightly faintly there, but it kind of wavers, almost like a choppy water, every now and again. And also, you see what looks almost like a spurting wound around her face and her eye, and also partially in her kind of torso. So it does seem like there might be some spiritual vent damage, most likely. But, and it doesn't, something you notice is it doesn't necessarily seem like, how to put it, the 20. Roll me a knowledge soul energy.
Okay. Wow. Ah, fuck me. Oh, fuck
Okay.
it. It's a new day? Wait, no, is that a new day?
No, it's
not
the same
anymore.
day.
I'm thinking
Mhm.
reroll. Fuck it.
You do, even with an 11, you kind of think, and you're like, you're thinking about like damage, spiritual advantage, possible healing. Sometimes it can heal, it just takes a long time. It's hard to gauge. The damage for this seems pretty severe, but as you're kind of thinking, you can see that something about her energy seems odd. There's lingering almost strings of chaos energy around her body, and almost like as if a bucket of water filling up. It's almost as if these strings are repairing certain holes in it. It's just very faintly there. Like supplementing or bandaging the areas of its disruption.
So it's getting healed.
Kind
You're
of.
saying, like,
It doesn't seem like it's as strong as it was before, but it is, I guess in a way, closing the wound at least.
and it's the chaos energy that's going there.
Yes, it's just faintly across her body every now and again, like strings on a cord, on an instrument, like wisping across portions of her body.
I mean, I'll relay that to her.
Hmm.
The chaos energy is seeming to slowly be repairing events.
So I guess she kind of looks over. She's a bit surprised. She kind of says, "So I still have a lingering sense of chaos? Huh. Odd. I would have thought once the organ was removed, I would lose all ability with that. Huh, I guess maybe it being in my eye socket for 2 months, whatever the hell he did to me, had some lasting effects. Well, either way, it's not like I can really go out and get in a fight right now. And I am a wanted fugitive, so even if I wanted to, well, I probably wouldn't be getting many friends. Seems like it would be stupid of me to not at least go with Belphina and Breese over here. Seems like they have some friends in the Lalau. Besides, Breese isn't going to be able to move for some time anyway. Not like that. And as much as I'd like to slightly just go with Belphina, I don't think she would be willing to leave him. So, I guess I'll be stuck with them for a bit.
I hope you enjoy your time while you're stuck with them. Do something for you.
Yeah, she kind of says, "Are you sure I can trust these Alta people? I know they don't have exactly the best relationship with the Consortium, but what if they turn me over as a goodwill favor?" And Karina like sits up immediately, like, "They wouldn't do that. They're not that type of people." She says, "All right, calm down, jeez. It's just a question." You are asking me to put my life on the line here, but I guess it's not exactly like I can do much else. If I try to go out into the open oceans, there's a good chance that Diaton finds a way to silence me. I'm not even going to act like he couldn't. Not in this state, at least. And you hear you hear from like a kind of horn of from the, or not horn on from the ship, but like kind of like a blaring for a moment, and then you hear Rebecca's voice as she comes on and says, all right. Those of you that are currently below deck, thank you for your assistance, of course, in making sure that we weren't attacked by another sea monster. That being said, we should be arriving at our destination shortly. Get your cargo ready for transport. Once we need to do this fast so that we don't make any weird, they don't notice any weirdness with us being gone for too long. We're already going to be a little bit late returning from what projected course we have, but the damage should be a good enough excuse to suffice, so. And she'll go off.
Well, I guess that's your time, Solani.
She nods. She kind of says, she'll look over at Breese. Breese will kind of sit up out of the water a bit, and he'll kind of say, he'll look over to all of you, and he'll say, he tries to give you like a bow, like his torso. He kind of like has the huddle in this big barrel, so when he stands up, it's like him almost like waist deep into the portal, as he kind of tries to do a bow with water spilling out. As he kind of says, "Thank you all. If it wasn't for you, there's a good chance Solani would be dead. No, not just Solani, myself as well." And it would give you a consortium kind of bow.
That's really alright. We just did what we thought was right.
Yeah,
hope you
so it's
all
just go talk.
Oh, sorry. You go first.
Starship was just gonna say a side comment. It's like, yes, even despite it being potentially dangerous, getting us in a lot of trouble with the authorities and throwing us off of our game. Yes.
They'll be fine. I hope you all stay safe, though. And have good adventures.
Breeze kind of says, I think it'll be a bit before I do any. That being said, my goal is still the same. Once I'm fit to go, he looks up at Solani. We're going to get to the bottom of whoever did this to both you and Belphina, and they will be brought to justice. She kind of like, I hope you're meaning that at the end of a sword spear tip. Because the type of justice the consortium offers is not what I'm interested in. And it says,
He's
however
much
that
more-
justice takes form.
He's much more than a consortium man. He's a man of his own honor and courage, despite and regardless of what the consortium does or says.
I guess I'll have to see that in action.
You will, in due time. But don't push yourself too much. You gotta heal.
Right. She kind of holds up her hand. You can see, homie, there's like a sputtering where she kind of tries to summon a bit of chaos energy that kind of formed for a moment before dissipating. She kind of clamps her fist. Yes, and gets a hang of some of this. I imagine that they're going to want some type of proof of the dragon's thing. She'll take off her sword spear and like slam it kind of onto the deck. Here you go. This should suffice. A weapon from the sea beast. Taking it?
That's her weapon?
Yes.
I want to pick it up just to give it an apparel, not an apparel, an
appraisal. Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
I also don't mind just holding on to it because weapons are.
Is she gonna need that?
She said that it would. Well, are you saying aren't you gonna need that?
Yeah.
Well, if you're trustworthy and what you say is true, I really shouldn't. The also should keep me hidden, at least until I can find a new one. Besides, like your captain or whoever that wasn't, or your helmsman, she would say, not captain, as your helmsman said, you're going to need to you'll need to convince them that I was definitely slain. This should
If this
suffice.
one a scale would have probably been better.
I'm not giving you a scale.
This should be well enough. I mean, the fight would definitely be over when the enemy is unarmed. And we'll just say that the sea dragon got away when the big ugly thing did too.
Well, we can. Sasha says, or we can say that this is our spoils from the fallen beast.
Well, if we say that she's dead, then won't they look for the body?
They're not
They
going to
might.
search the Darcy.
But they're going to be. She kind of looks. She nods actually when you say that. They're going to struggle, as John mentions. Besides, they don't exactly have a reason to not believe us, especially if we're bringing back a spoil.
Yeah.
She kind of looks over the design. She kind of says, "Yes, it is something that I got from the Scorned Seas." You can see the ship slowly kind of slows down. She kind of says, I guess that's our cue. She'll start walking up the steps. Breeze, you'll see Taramela will lift up the water, the barrel, and kind of like start carrying it up with Breeze. She's definitely struggling a bit, but she's stronger than, I think she's as strong as Homie, if not a little stronger. So she'll definitely carry the barrel without much issue. I just thought about that. Up the stairs. Are any of you following them, or are you guys just gonna let them go and just talk down here for a moment?
I think I'd follow them.
Yeah, I want to see him off.
Mm.
I'll try to be
Sure.
quiet about I mean, not
Yeah.
hiding from them, but make sure we don't just,
Right.
goodbye, farewell.
You head up there. You can see there is a vessel. There is a long ship that is docked. Actually, yeah, no, it's a long ship that's docked over here, next to you all. This one seems to be a smaller type of craft. That is, it's not made to look like an Alto ship. This seems like it's like a long type of like fishing boat type feel. There are crates there. There's some things tied over with blankets and stuff like that. And they kind of look over. One of them will nod to the other as a drawbridge is lowered between the both vessels. You'll see Greyfang actually. Not Greyfang. Who is it? Is it Nasili? What's her name? The chick that oh my god.
Oh,
It's-
I know who you're talking about.
It's not Nadia, right? It's Nasili, isn't it? The chick that did your ritual, your ceremony.
Trial. Yeah. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but I have written
I'm
down
gonna.
somewhere.
I'm just gonna look it up. I have it here. Yeah. I did not realize how difficult it is to spell this name.
That's
I
fair.
regret my. What if I look up Alto? Okay, ritual does not. What was the ritual called? The beast what?
Bonding.
Thank you. Beast bond. No. No, it's not in there. I think
Was her name Nuna? Yeah, I think.
Nuna. That's it. Nuna Swiftwind. I knew the last name. Swiftwind. I don't know why I didn't just go with the also. Never mind. I should just went with Swiftwind. Nuna will be there actually, and she'll kind of like walk up. Karina will see them and immediately like leap over as they get aboard the ship and just give them a hug. Nuna will kind of like give her a hug back, and kind of pat their head. Says, "And how is our silver-tailed warrior doing?" Says, "Good. Is everything alright?" It's like they didn't notice a thing. They haven't been watching the coast actually. They've been pretty much only focused on the seas and the coves. Or sorry, yeah, in the coast. Or not coast, the cove. Yes. She says, "Good. She says, "No, he's not. But I hear that you'll be coming back this way, so you'll get to see him before you leave." He's like, "All right." This is. She'll kind of look over. "So, where's the cargo?" And you'll see Solani kind of steps over, and then Breese will be like, he'll actually get out of the water for a moment, and Nuna will just look as he's stepping out of the barrel and say, "Why is Breese in a barrel of water?"
He kind of needs to be.
He needs to be? She kind of sniffs the air around. He's like, ugh. He's like, She says, so some type of illness or ailment is on him, yes. I can tell based on his skin. She kind of like takes like a little bit of a, she kind of takes like a little bit of a clawed like fingernail and just kind of slightly taps his skin. Exceedingly dry, or it's drying rapidly. There's something we might be able to do about that, but you're going to need some time to rest. So, water, moisture. I might have some things in my books for that. I'll check whatever herbal remedies that I can use to heal that ailment quicker. Besides,
Maybe
yes,
like
I can also talk to one of the medical experts. She looks over.
Maybe a barrel of honey in the meantime?
Might not be a bad
I don't know.
idea. He'll be sticky though. But I guess that beats having his skin dry out.
Yeah.
I bet the tide would have a solution for that, but like, Mariana probably, that wouldn't be in her expertise.
Don't say that. Don't say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm not going to, but
They
it's
might
not incorrect.
actually have a specific thing for this, but the Alto's not bad as well at these type of curing ailments and stuff. But she will
Tomato soup.
tomato soup.
Yeah,
Honey doesn't
She's like,
smell.
I don't believe he got sprayed by some type of oh my god, what the fuck are they called? They're the badgers.
Talking
No,
about the
well,
Wolverine-like ones.
yeah, not yeah, those.
The
The
Venegar?
Venegar. He's like, I don't believe he got sprayed by a Venegar. The scent would
Oh.
have been a
They're
lot
our
more
world's
pungent on
version
it.
of skunks.
They're big skunks that
Oh.
go
They do
around
acid, or
trees
they
like
do
lemurs.
Aren't they
They also
poison
have-
acid related? Something
Yes,
like that?
they are actually. There's also, I think, a subspecies of them that does something like, is it decay related? I can't remember.
I feel like honey might be more effective than tomato soup or juice because tomatoes spoil and honey lasts forever. And it doesn't smell because it doesn't spoil. Well, I mean, it smells good, but
Gianna says, well then, Gianna looks over to the other two, also hunters with her, and just says, get them on the ship and hide them. Gianna says, and you, dear. Gianna looks over. Gianna says, I'll get in a box if I have to get in a box. Gianna says, oh, come now, it won't be that long.
You know, I forgot to ask because she got in her human form during the combat, but how tall is she?
How tall is Solani?
Yeah.
Let's find out, shall we? I believe she's like 6'6".
Which matches the high average of our party.
Yeah, or not. Yeah, she's like 6'6". Yeah, she's not. No, yeah. No, she's about. I think she's like 6'6", 6'8", something like that. I think it's 6'6". No, I think it is 6'6". Yeah. But they will begin to board the vessel. Nuno will kind of go over and say, so you guys so have you guys figured out what you're going to do with the whole keeping the secret thing? They're not going to notice that you've all been gone for a little bit longer than you should have been?
Well, our ship's pretty damaged, so we're just gonna use that as an excuse.
Starsha kind of looks over and nods to the weapon you have. Say, also, we have a little you can say, prize that we got from our battle. It says,
Also,
"Oh,
I rolled an appraisal of 12. Not fantastic, but you know.
it is definitely some type of magical sword spear. Some of the details is hard to tell, but there is an affinity of water, you think, maybe cold energy also on it. It is actually very well made. So, definitely a good craftsmanship. That being said, though, you know, just nod and say, well, if you figured it, I guess, well, it seems like you figured it out. In that case, then I will take our leave. We will take our leave. Please ensure that the future of the, please ensure the future of the law is not arrested for anything that might make things difficult for us. So she just nods and says, I ensure that we will not. So it's good. And Nina will begin to take her leave. They'll kind of nod to you once they're aboard, shink back the drawbridge, and we'll start to paddle towards further into the coast along a river. And you'll hear as Rebecca kind of says, and now let us make our way back to Moga Shores. Well, the town shores.
of course.
Is the boat like good? Like no damages?
Oh, we're damaged, but we're floating. We'll be fine. We can make it back without much issue. Propulsion seems to be working perfectly fine. The weapons are working relatively fine as well. We didn't even use that much ammo. The hull had a couple of breaches, but we patched them up pretty well. Mostly from that creature just crushing the ship with its body. Speaking of, what was that thing?
A kraken? I did something there.
Oh wait, I have the name written down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember why. If I made a check.
Solani said.
Solani, okay, all right. but
Yeah.
it's
Towards the end of the
Oh
show,
no,
what she said.
because it was the Red Swell or something, wasn't it?
Yes, she said
And
so.
its actual name is Cathar.
Yes, so its actual name is Cathar. It's called Cathal, that's what Diaton calls it now. What she said was it was a stitched together corpse of the red
Oh, yeah,
Swell
it was,
that
yeah, the
Diaton
corpse.
found and began to test on and perform certain rituals with to make into what you saw as Cathal, the echoed swell, is what he calls it. It's his little pet. It's what she is. Yeah, it's a little pet.
I want a pet like that eventually. Can you imagine?
Starship
I was so
looks
ready
over.
to beat the
That
shit
sound-
out of that pet.
Starship says that pet was disgusting.
Well, that one, yeah, but like, if I had a pet that size and could move it around, Marliana's just like currently in her own thoughts, just.
Maybe your pet will grow.
How
You
about we
know?
stick to a goldfish first, alright?
Well, we
Starship
already
says,
have
aren't
something
goldfish
bigger
known
than-
for dying constantly?
Sturdy one.
Yeah.
You've
A
got to
quick
take
fish, how
care
about
of it.
that? Nothing bigger than like 3 feet, alright?
Maliana's current pet, bonded beast, is already larger than that. You know that, right?
Yeah, I'm sure Sedna will grow up big and strong.
Well, if it goes like a Pride Uldor, then it's definitely going to.
I should research them more. Sedna's a
Probably.
little different. Wait, I
Yes.
remember making a check, but I don't think I passed. Or did I?
I thought you did. You found out that she's a mutation. I don't know. You know what it might have been? You might have found out she was a subspecies or whatever.
But I don't know what kind.
Yeah. That was
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the early stages, it won't really matter.
Yeah,
Oh.
early on it doesn't matter. It's just the coloration. And then she has a different type of spit. That's about it. But relatively, it's the same base attacks. But, Starsha will kind of turn and just say, as Rebecca said, our helmsman, let's head off.
Okay. Boom. I'm gonna start doing my training point rolls.
Yeah, okay. It'll be about 30 minutes as you guys make your way back to the actual town of Moga. As your party enters the Moga area, you can immediately see the coast near the channel that connects to the larger river, the one that can lead to the Lel. It's like the big river that ships can even go into. At least maybe not cruisers, but at least a frigate maybe. You can see that.
Damn.
You're rolling everything, yeah. You can see at the docks as you're closing in the pier, there are several remaining vessels. It is around the early evening, it's around the mid-evening. You think maybe around 7 or so, as you arrive, with the Consortium and Guild Union. You can see on the docks working overtime as they rush back and forth, working to heal and bring wounded around, emergency repairs on the vessels remaining, and sending out fresh teams as they can on new ships, or on repaired ships, I should say. You can also see that they're kind of immediately welcoming you guys back, to the docks. And as you get there, you can see immediately as the bridge is lowered, they hop onto the bridge, start running up, and immediately start looking, asking, hey, what is damaged? What do you need repaired? We're here to assist you. Is anyone wounded? Do they need to be taken? Assistance. They're going, head count. So a guild officer comes up, and they immediately rush up to, your group. I guess it's still on the deck, and they're like, what? Where's, we're not counting all your members. Are they below deck?
We lift up in one of the barrels to show Bellathor, or whatever his name is.
Breese isn't there.
The stink. I don't know that.
Ooh, should we say we lost him? Wait, above board. I can't. Never mind.
I like to imagine Homie goes over to a barrel.
What's happening? Because
Okay.
I think I might have misheard some things.
So you're at the dock. You've just arrived at the docks now, and you are there's currently an officer that is just rushed up. A guild officer is rushed up and is doing a head count, and they're asking if anyone else they're missing people, or are the rest of them below deck? Is what they ask. There are other
I
people
don't
that have just
think
kind of hopped onto your deck, and they're also like trying to ask around, like to help repair and fix things.
Were
I
they
heard the
aware
repairs
that
part, yeah, but
above board? Were they aware that Brisk was on or Breeze was on our
Breeze?
ship?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
who's missing. Oh, that's who they're missing. Yeah, so.
Well, I
And
mean,
they-
they don't see Rebecca and the other, and like Magellan and them. They're asking like, "Hey, is anyone below deck?" Like they don't
yeah, I
see
just
everyone
like
here.
we've
Yeah.
had some people taking care of the last touches down below.
Good. I'll make sure to go get a head count in down there and make sure everything's fine. Do you have any wounded that need immediate attention? It's like a kind of.
I think for the most part we're okay. I mean, it won't hurt to have some people get checked up on, but there aren't any serious injuries.
Yeah, no, it's just like, alright, good. He looks over and he says, then seems your group fared better than most. A couple of guild teams actually did good, even some consortium ones, but for the most part, there's a lot of wounded around.
We did face many struggles, but most of us made it back.
And looks back, he says, he guys says, okay. I'll go check, and then once I'm done, I'll report back to Chavez and the others. Alright, and he, like, rusts down.
The moment he gets away, Jai is gonna like whisper, try to get like a little team huddle going, whisper and be like, "Do we say that we lost Breeze during the fight?"
Starship kind of thinks,
Just say he's
maybe.
dead. Like, I feel like that works.
She kind of says, it might be difficult. She says, it might not be a bad idea. He did say he put in for his, we'll say, leave.
What do we do?
I don't think it would be good for his, well, just say, reputation or in general. It would probably look more suspicious if we said that he left on his leave after, well, after the operation and without checking in.
I would just say that he's like at the
MIA?
other port doing his own thing.
What port? The only other
I don't
port.
know. Where
Wait, what
from?
if we say he got pulled into the water and we lost him? So like
That
if he
might
comes
be.
back, it's like a miracle.
Yes, I think it best to report him as MIA. Well, that might bring some suspicion towards us. At least it should leave
So
mostly
confused.
Breeze fine. Homie, you're looking over like you're so confused. She's like, Sar's like, what are you confused by?
Why? Why are we thinking this? We know where he is. Why can't
We
just
can't
be-
say where he is.
We don't
Do
want to
not say
tell them where
is.
he is, homie. He's with Belphina and Solani.
Oh, we don't have to say that part. We just be like, he's over there just fooling. That man.
Do you think that they won't go trying to look for him and where he is and find the others, if that's the case?
They do that? And he's just taking a breather.
They're
We're
gonna
going
go
to want to
here.
check in with him. He was one of the commanders of this operation, or captains of this operation.
Captain vacations too.
They
She
don't
just
give
sighs.
vacations without checking. Just don't say anything.
Homie, don't reference anything. Let Jai and I handle it.
I want to go like maybe he was like pulled off the ship and we lost.
He was
track
pulled
of
off
him
the
and-
ship by the monster, and we lost track
Yeah.
of him during the storm.
This is why I can't lie. Lying takes too much work.
This is why just don't say anything. Don't. Wait, we need to let Rebecca know.
Yeah, says right. She'll kind of call in, Rebecca, Vari, tell the others as well, and then she'll relay basically what you all said. That's the story. Rebecca would just say, all right, fine. Oh, they're coming in now. Yes, everyone is here. Oh, you're looking for, and then she says, oh, you're looking for Magellan and them. They should be in the weapons area. Yes, okay. And then, like, she'll go up. She says, okay, that's good. So, while they're doing that, we should start. She'll look over and say, and one of the guild people will come over. You'll actually see someone walk up, as they say, are you echoes of Stardust? Oh, sorry, are you echoes of Stardust? As a young man, approaches. What is his name? Jai, you will recognize this young man as well. Let me see what his name is. Well, I know what his name is. I need to see his description. Let me see. Just type in the word Beogol. I feel like that's gonna... One moment. Here we go. Okay, curse of that. Right, I think that was, like, not entirely planned, and that kind of just happened sporadically. Hey, Jai, you were given a description for Chavez. As I recall, was Chavez a beast person? I know his partner was. He was a Lupin, a big Lupin man.
Chavez. I'm searching my notes.
Are your notes on a separate document?
Yeah.
Well, I can't find. I was gonna try to help search as well, but
You want me to help look? Wait for Chavez.
yes, you might have notes on it because I know you take notes even of stuff that Marliana might not know.
Well, I have his name down once.
How does it spelled in your notes?
Chaves.
C-H-A-V-E.
It could be spelled multiple ways. Sometimes it's not always. No, I think that's the only
I think
time
that's you've got that right.
Damn, that was a boot ago. That was on day 8.
Yeah, it was Chavez was right before Jai made the Beogol contract. It was the same night actually.
I don't have his description in my notes.
Alright. I'm about to do something real quick. Give me one sec. Time to go to my... Damn, this was a while ago. Okay. It was... Jai makes a... Yeah, that was the episode. Jai makes a pact with a voice in their head. But outside of that... One moment.
What?
No, I'm saying that Magellan has the most natural...
This big cat eyes.
does not fall
And they...
you guys, which she is. You are probably now returning to the... Damn. The who? You? Okay. I hate that I don't have his description right now, but for now we'll just keep going with it. Chavez is the one who is currently walking up the stairs.
Does Jai recognize it? Oh, Jai
Yes,
recognized him.
Jai recognized him because that was the one you talked with. That you were supposed to keep in touch with. That talked about your Beogol shenanigans. He was the guy that first talked to you about things.
Jai will say, well, hello.
God, that was 6 months ago. Anyway, he kind of looks over and says, "Ah, it's you, the Sevlican. Are you?" He guy says, "And it seems that you're doing quite well. You look a little bit." Yeah, he kind of looks over. You look a little bit in stir. I'm guessing you all had fun with your little combat.
Fun is a word.
Yes, indeed a word. Well, you're not the only one. A lot of groups were not exactly doing amazing. Yeah, I forgot. Jai's on like 12 health. A lot of groups did not exactly do amazing. But we got through it. Our group actually fared better than most. He kind of looks out at the sea and looks over towards some of the ships. Right, the reason I'm actually here. He'll take out a note for a moment, and he'll say, "It seems all of you have been requested. I'm here to, well, bring you to them.
Who requested us?
As I go back, just not looking for Chavez anymore, to instead find the information for the day's session. He would say, I believe the main commanders of the operation, Devoni, Hirata, and Kuya. They're at the Consortium barracks, directing things, and they'd like you to report in directly.
Okay.
He'll look over to all of you. This is a request formally to the main captains, you could say, of your group. I'm not sure if your group has them, but you'll probably want to make sure that they're present for this.
Okay.
Sarsha kind of looks over and says, most of us up here should suffice. Homie, Marliana, you come with me and Jai.
Okay.
Yep. Karina kind of says, I want to come too. Sarsha kind of turns like,
You should.
if you'd like. Tara Mela kind of actually says, I'm going to come as well. Sarsha says, well, the invitation was technically out there, I guess, but... Sure. That's fine. She goes,
Jai isn't
Fari
laughing.
can keep...
Love word laughing.
Yes, she says, oh, Fari can handle things here. Sarsha says, I'm sure. Says, oh, you make that sound like you didn't want me to come here.
Technically,
What'd you
if
say?
we're talking group leaders, wouldn't Fari be more closer to a group leader?
Sarsha says, you're right, so you should stay instead of Fari. And it says, oh, I can see. You don't want me to be a part of this, of important conversations in the team. It says,
Tara Mela is an important person with the guild. Fari does a lot of our background work. Maybe someone at least should come.
oh,
Rebecca
thank you,
could
Marliana.
helm
She like kind of comes over and like hugs you. Oh, thank you, Marliana. Someone cares about me here.
Rebecca could helm the ship.
Sasha just sighs. She just says, we're wasting time. Just let it go, come on.
Fari, come. Talamela. I guess you can come. Everyone else, come on.
No, Sasha says, Saramela's right. Fari should stay. If we need someone responsible here.
Well, Fari is kind of close to a group leader, though.
You're right, but I'll relay information to her.
Fari, are you okay with that?
Fari will nod, just say, yes, it's alright.
Okay.
Stasha has a point.
Honestly, we
Rebecca,
haven't even really deemed anyone of a leader. We kind of all just trust each other to do what we need to do, right?
yeah.
Stasha nods, she says, yes, but if we're talking about people that are responsible on the team, or people that I trust to direct us, Fari is definitely the one I would.
That's fair.
I
Trust
can't argue
Rebecca,
with that.
too.
But
Rebecca
you could be in the same position, Starsha.
Stasha she doesn't really answer that, she just keeps walking.
Rebecca's also got a good head on her shoulders if you think about it.
I look
Oh,
directly
man.
to Starsha to see if she has anything to say on that, just because
Nope,
I think
she's not saying anything. She's just gonna keep her mouth shut. Sorry, Mela kind of just like, she kind of coos a bit, like a little bit of a purr, like, ooh, someone's sensitive about certain things. But she'll shut up and just kind of keep walking.
Wait, am I the only one who thinks Rebecca's got a good head on her shoulders?
No, of course she does.
So I was like,
but
no, of course she does.
Starsha is Starsha. Anyways, let's go.
Starsha invited herself to this meeting just like I invited myself to.
Having a meeting?
Homie is walking with her others, like, wait, we're having a meeting.
Wait, probably should just go with Rebecca.
No, Sasha says, homie should go with us. Mainly because I don't want his ass being around by himself. Or with Rebecca.
He will be by himself. Him and Rebecca
Yeah, I'm
will
a
get
grown
in
man.
trouble.
Well, I mean, homie, your perspective is important. We should keep you around, you know? We
I don't
trust
even know
what
what's
she has
going on.
to say.
That's exactly why you're coming with us, so you can become more informed, and also so I can keep an eye on you. And she goes,
Perhaps wait before we go any further. Perhaps homie should stay since he's not the best at secrets.
We're now gotta keep secrets? Oh my god. I just want to
Sasha.
punch shit.
I doubt we're gonna be getting into any secrecy. We're just making a simple report and hearing what
Shava.
someone has to say.
Shava just says, "Oh my God, you sound like that meathead."
Homie, you're just
Can I just go
Just
to a
go
bar?
listen.
Can I just go to? Can I get
no,
food?
no, just come and sit down quietly. Don't say anything. Listen.
I'm sitting on the ceiling.
It's fine.
No,
And
it's
Sasha says,
fair.
"You can sit on the ceiling. Just you're coming with us." And she kind of keeps walking.
Come on, Yana, carry me like a balloon.
Just
I
sit
could do
in
that. I
Just
could,
ties
I
a
could
rope to his
like
ankle, and he
hold
just starts
onto your
walking in the
tail while
sky.
you're floating in the air.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Just like
There's
in a
people kind of like
chair on the
subtly
ground.
looking as you're doing that, like, what are they? Anyway, they just keep going. They're like, I don't know what that is, but I gotta do my job. Like, they just keep going. As you guys are leaving, one sec. Yeah, as you guys are leaving, you kind of peer across the bay, and just you can count some of the missing vessels and damaged vessels if you'd like, or just kind of look around.
I guess about 5.
Would you like to make a inspection?
Yes.
Please make an inspection check.
I think I will.
I hate that
Whatever.
my thoughts are this way.
Yeah, there's 5.
All right, what
I
are
got
the
a-
rules?
I got a 13. I know how to
All
make
right, 13. What others?
6.
Nope.
I got a 12.
Nope. Marliana, you can see there are out of the 15. I guess I could roll for Starsha too, but
You should.
I should. But I read the rule. Okay, well she got it. Out of the 15 vessels. Why is that? Yes. Out of the 15 vessels that have set sail this morning, you only see about 7 present. You overhear that only 11 remain, and nearly half are somewhat notably damaged, or notably to heavily damaged. While it's not terrible, we'll say, it is definitely a display that this problem in Moga could have been significantly worse if left to fester longer, and also if this is we'll just say, what you can expect for other coastal settlements, this could definitely become a big problem. Because these were not like, a lot of these were decent warships, maybe not a full armada, but this was notable. So, definitely a problem. There are several medical tents, as you noted before, that are erected across the pier, most likely for emergency services. And the thought kind of crosses you and Starship's head about how full they might be, as you see another 6 or so be carried off into the tents. You actually recognize one of the people. One of them is Aaron. I believe is his name.
Wait, can you say it again? Sorry.
I believe his name is Aaron. Remember? You met him recently.
Yeah, the one night it was like
Yep.
we expected the worst from, and he was actually kind of cool.
Yes. He is currently being like, carried off. He seems you don't think he's necessarily like bleeding out. He's got blotches across bandages that have been hastily tied across most of his body, especially his torso. But he's being carried off in one of the tents. So yeah, it did seem like some notable people even got wounded here. But as you leave, you notice a few vessels coming into the bay with light damage and and also a couple with them that look to be maybe carrying fresh troops aboard. You can actually see them on the top deck. You notice that they have a triple trident insignia on their chest.
Can Jai like roll to see if she's seen that insignia before she knows heard of it in
Well,
the textbook?
unfortunately, you're not the one that's seeing this. It's Starsha and Marliana. Marliana, you can roll a knowledge, local regal, or a recollection.
Recollect. Can you describe the symbol again for me?
It looks like 3 tridents, 2 going upwards at diagonal angles, and 1 going straight up through the top.
Oh, I don't think I need a recollect.
You don't need to roll a check for this. Yeah, it's fine. I was gonna say, I was waiting for you to pick up who it was.
No, I didn't hear
Yeah,
it
yeah.
completely. I wrote it because I already had it queued, but.
Yes, it is the tide pack. You are correct.
Does Marliana mention this as a warning?
I don't know. does
Alright,
Marliana?
So these
It looks like
pack-
there's a couple. There's basically like one or two lightly damaged vessels, and there looks to be 2 new other vessels following them with fresh troops. These fresh troops that are aboard, you can see they have the triple trident insignia. Similarly, also on the ship they do. They are not also the same design of ship of the other ship they are accompanying. The ones that they're accompanying, or the ones they're accompanying seem to be like slightly wood and metal, and theirs are mostly metal.
And so these ships weren't some of the 15. These are new ships.
No, these are new. These are new ships. Yeah, the only ones that are part of the 15 are the ones that look lightly damaged. The 2 that look lightly damaged.
Actually, whatever direction those ships are in, I want to kind of step away, like putting someone else in between me and the ships. But I will say, it seems like the tide are bringing in reinforcements for everyone. I'll point over and try and huddle behind. Well, out of the 2, Starsha and Karina are the 2 tallest. So one of them, I'm gonna cuddle.
Or
behind
Taramela would actually be the physically biggest, honestly.
I thought wait, hold on. How tall is Taramela? Because Starsha's like 6'6".
Taramela is actually a little bit taller than Starsha, and also physically bigger than Starsha is.
That actually makes okay. Well, with that in mind, yeah,
like slightly taller, but she's physically bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's muscular and she's a big old Gelfa-tailed girl. Yeah, I'll hide behind Taramela, like.
Yeah, like kind of putting her in front of you. Yeah, she kind of seems like notably receptive to it, and like takes a step back a bit to kind of like match your pace, an angle with the ship. But yeah, you said you were laying this to the party. Yep. Okay. Was Jai saying something?
Can Jai roll awareness?
Sure.
Jai just wishes to be extremely aware of their surroundings.
Why would you need to do that?
That's suspicious.
Also, not that I think it'll provide much, but I wouldn't mind taking a more in-depth look at the tide ships. I doubt it, but hopefully I don't recognize anyone there. God, if I did, that would be the worst case scenario.
I will say, because 17. Okay, I'll give you that in a minute. I will say, because Marliana did say this out loud, and Chavez is present. Not the whole making a check thing for like the other thing, but just more like, hey, there's tide pack coming. Chavez kind of turns, and you guys are going further inland. He's like, huh. So they are. It seems it's the tide pack. Yes, that's odd though. I don't recall the tide pack being notified for this. Perhaps Hirata notified them. Either way, they do seem to have fresh troops. Perhaps they're here to provide aid. Sasha kind of like... See that it looks back and kind of mummers under her breath something? I'd say Marliana, like, and the others could probably hear quiet enough, but she would just say, as Chavez says that perhaps they're here to, or perhaps they've come to aid, she kind of says, or perhaps they're here for something else.
Oh, that's funny. Say it again, because I didn't hear it.
Oh, she said perhaps they're here for something else, is what she said. After Chavez said perhaps they're here to aid, she said perhaps they're here for something else. And she's just kind of thinking. And then...
Even what we were just talking about, that's a fair assessment.
You rolled a 17, you said?
Yep.
You looking across the deck, you can see that there is like at least 30 on each, not 30, there are at least 20 on each ship of these brandishing like these silver, these silver and coral encrusted tridents, like standing tall, standing stout, chest puffed up, of relatively similar sizes, but various different marlis, all kind of readied and at attention, with the slightly gilded trim on their shoulders. They are the honor. They are the honor of the tide. You can tell their bravado even presented even just as they crest upon the docks. And they just pretty much start like getting off the ship in like in double file and kind of fanning out. They seem to be rushing over to like help. They're dropping off like crates of stuff. You can roll me a knowledge local regal if you'd like.
Also, do they
Can I-
seem to be aware of our presence?
They do not. You guys are further inland. You're like out of the docks at this point, looking back. You guys are like probably a good 200 to 300 feet away from them.
I rolled a 19 on local regal.
Okay, and also I heard some. Can I what?
Oh, I guess should I roll to see if I can tell that they're the honor guard? Like,
Yeah, roll me a local regal.
I would know what the symbol
Actually,
is. Obviously,
you don't need to
like,
you don't need to roll local regal. You can tell they are part of the honor guard and also bolstering current. Believe it or not, you can see both of their insignias are present in their armor. Well, the different people, but yeah.
Also, I think Jai would kind of like either slow down or speed up to match Tarlamela and Marliana's speed and kind of like whisper this to them very quietly. I can roll stealth too if you want.
and just, I'm
Josh,
pretty sure this has been brought up before, but
Mm-hmm.
the honor guard are the people who Marliana was forced to train with for a while.
Yes, correct.
Mhm.
They are the Marless.
Probably
They
the
represent
biggest reason why
the honor of the tide. I'm sorry. Maybe a bit of an ass, but yeah. You did train with them, uncomfortably, we'll say.
Yeah. The day I recognize someone from the honor guard who isn't a family member, is, I mean, what the hell? It's not gonna be a good day.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, 17. You also recognize that they are members of the honor guard as well, and bolstering current. Jai.
Okay, I think Jai would mention this.
However, what is it you rolled? Jai, you didn't get the one thing, did you? Inspection. I'm gonna need. Oh, your awareness though. It was inspection, not awareness.
And my knowledge local regal is a 19.
Yes, but that was for the other thing. Marleon, did you roll an inspection?
Yeah,
What was it?
Let me look at my plus. I think it was a
Was it a 16?
13.
A 13?
It wasn't
Aw,
a 16. Yeah.
unfortunate. If it was a 16,
Inspection.
there's something else you would have gotten,
Yeah.
but no. But yeah, okay, that's what you guys see.
It's interesting that the tide are here,
Mhm.
but given that Harada was a big factor, it makes sense that they showed up eventually.
So,
Let's just keep on moving.
yep, Sava says, right, it is important that we get this information. I'm sure they'll want to know what happened with your vessel and the rest of your squad. Only two of them really, and I'll figure it's best for them to tell you. But after a couple more minutes, you will be brought to the barracks. You recognize this. This is where, this is where you guys first met Breese and everything. And they're actually in one of the meeting rooms, kind of the only meeting room in this barracks. As they seem to be you see that there is a couple of tables that's been dragged in here, maps of the local area and the ocean or the sea nearby. You can see there's little ship icons on this map. Quia seems to be sitting down and coordinating with with a transceiver device in her ear, kind of nodding and relaying information, writing it down, telling another member to do something. You actually see a very kind of muscular Lupin kind of writing stuff down and stuff like that. And next to her as well, you can also see another Lupin with double horns who's writing things down and seems to be nodding. He's kind of he's writing things down, looks over, kind of talks to Hirata and Devoni, and kind of like there's a couple like chuckles from him as he says, "I'm sure they'll be all right. Don't worry." He's like, "I'm sure they'll be all right. Don't worry. I'm sure they'll make." And he kind of says, "Ah, well, look at that. There they are." As you guys enter the room, it's been a while since you've seen him, especially upright. That is your Lupin Devilkin boy from the earlier portion of the campaign. It's Kane.
Oh yeah.
Technically, I guess someone wouldn't know them here, which is what's their name?
Jai?
Jai wouldn't know them. Tarmail wouldn't know
Jai
them.
and Karina, right? Well, I mean,
Yep.
Karina could
No,
know them
Karina
from
knows.
before.
Yeah, Karina knows
We
them
just
because they
didn't-
were. Yeah, Karina's known them for a
Karina
while.
wasn't here when we met them, but I guess it makes sense.
Not the
that-
first time, but they were there when you guys went to go see them, and because you found out they went to the well, or they got taken by the well to get assisted. So
Right,
yeah.
right.
Karina is aware of them, but yeah, basically Jai, Taramela, Fari would have probably been told by now. Rebecca wouldn't know, but Rebecca's not present. But yeah, as you guys,
So you said Harada's here, Kane's here.
Harada,
and
Kane, Devoni, Quia, and then the other one that's big, this big kind of muscular Lupin, Chavez will walk over as he kind of looks up. He's like, "Chavez!" And he kind of gives him a big bear hug and kisses him on the forehead. And he's like, "Yep, it's good to see you too. How is the desk work doing for you?" He's like, "Oh, boring as shit. But I'm happy to see you all right." And he kind of looks very giddy as he's holding him.
Aw.
Meanwhile, Kane kind of looks over. He's like, "See, I told you they'd be fine." He kind of smacks himself on the stomach a bit. He's like, "So, what happened with all of you? Heard a lot of things."
It was rough.
Right. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like, right, you guys are
by-
probably tired. Take a seat while you're talking. I don't want to keep you. We don't want to keep you all standing. And he looks over at
Is
Hirata
that
and
the same
Devoni.
Lupin? Wait, hold on. You said that they were a Lupin?
Yeah, this is not Chavez's partner. This is Kane talking.
Okay, wait. Who's the
They're both Lupin.
Who's the other person? We don't know them, but what was
Their
the
name?
description of it?
They are a large, bulky Lupin that was kind of writing down with stuff as Quia was telling them things. And then as soon as like Chavez entered the room, they scooped him up, gave him a kiss, and they're talking with Chavez right now. They're not really paying attention at all to what you guys are saying.
That's cool.
But Kane is like basically so like, yeah, he's like, he looked over at the other ones like, is it okay if is it okay for them to take a seat? And Hirata kind of says, yes, yes, they all should take a seat. That'll be for the best, yes. As he will motion for all of you to sit as you'd like.
We had quite the battle out there. I'd say we fought two pretty impressive opponents.
He kind of sits down with you all. Devoni is kind of standing at the moment. Quia continues doing what she's doing, but she's listening in. And he says, really, you don't say. Oh, right. I should probably say, we should probably provide you all a status report as well. He says, we also, he was saying, we have commandeered the command area of this outpost, or this barracks, and taken a little bit of Breeze's space. Hope that he doesn't mind. Speaking of, I was wondering where he was before I begin.
Breeze.
About that.
He kind of looks down solemnly. I see.
He was swept up in the waters, and we couldn't find him.
So there's a chance he's still alive.
Well, last we saw, he went overboard, so the possibility isn't zero.
Quia, would you? She says, already on it. I'll send something out soon, okay? He says, thank you.
Yeah, we took our time to look for him too, but we didn't want to stay out for too long, just in case
That's
we were
what took us
ambushed.
so long, actually. One of the reasons.
That and the damage to our ship. We fought this colossal creature that was slamming into us over and over.
Colossal creature, you say? He kind of looks over.
Mariano give the best description that she can. Actually, I've been thinking about this. It could make sense that Marliana could draw a little since she's interested in weapon schematics. So like on a smithing engineering side of things, she'd probably be an okay.
Roll me a resourcefulness check. Because I can't. I'm trying to think of like what would be a good. Ironically, this is where the artiste profession actually could come in.
Yeah,
but,
for sure. Well, I got a 19. I'm pretty.
Okay.
Solid.
You draw a pretty well image, like a pretty well done image of this creature, kind of breaching out of the water. It's you know, it's a sketch, so it's very quickly made hastily, but it still looks like you get the defined form, the arms kind of coming off of its spine, the tentacles reaching out of the water and such like that. The face that has like the arms kind of around its lips and the kind of stretched out stringy mouth. This matches the report. Devona kind of nods. He's like, this matches the reports, Arata. Arata kind of says, yes, they do.
This is the same creature we saw when we first showed up to Moga. When we escaped from that boat.
He nods. Yes, I believe I've read some reports about that. Sorry, he says, so this would be Devoni. Yes, I believe I read some reports about that.
I overheard one of the enemy commanders. They said it was the corpse of the Red Swell.
When you say that, their eyes immediately widen. But
I know, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. But I mean,
but go ahead.
They said it was created by one of their scientists as a pet.
One of them says, they kind of look so. Chavez actually kind of says, looks over. Are you mad? The corpse of the Red Swell. I thought that thing was lost to the seas ages ago. One of the abyssal tyrants of the last several centuries, and it's. And it says, he kind of says.
That's what we heard.
Devoni will just nod and he'll say, stranger things have happened. The corpse of the Red Swell, you see Harada kind of looks over and he says, The Tide Pack was supposed to be watching the remains of the creature. Some of the remains left over. Perhaps there was some other portions left that were not necessarily as seen.
Can you say that again? That sounded important and I didn't catch it all.
Oh, he said, Hirata said perhaps, he's like, perhaps some of the he says the Tide Pack was supposed to be watching portions of the Red Swell's corpse. Perhaps they missed a portion that might have drifted along the waters. But that still doesn't answer. You said one of the enemy commanders, a mad scientist, they reanimated its corpse?
That's what it sounded like. And if they can do that, they might be behind these Chimera too.
It's a safe assessment. He looks over at Devoni. Devoni nods. Yes, indeed. We've had our suspicions as well on our tests that we've done. Some of the tests that some of the material and dissections we've had of the creatures, both during and after, or both mid disintegration and after disintegration. Both signs show that there is traces of faint genetic material from other creatures, humans, sea creatures, etc.
Would it be okay if we got some of that research? If we have to come up against them again, it might come in handy.
Devoni kind of says, "Not worry. This will be disclosed by the guild very soon. We just want to make sure before we do that we have all of our ducks in a row, so to speak.
Okay. We also have this, and I'll take the sword spear
Mm-hmm.
and put it on the table.
So, Quia kind of looks over at this, she's like, what is that? And Devona kind of
This is
says,
the weapon of the commander.
So you defeated them, that sea beast? The other one?
Yes, the water dragon.
He kind of thinks. He's looking at you a bit.
It sunk after our final blow.
It seemed to have some sort of what word do I want to use here? It had some device in its head that made it act in certain ways. It was strange.
Device
Maybe
in
a
its
source
head.
of power?
He kind of looks over. Devoni kind of says, based on the reports that we have currently, Kane kind of nods. We didn't recover anything that looked weird like that. We didn't recover anything that looked weird like that. He says, I don't know. Weird organ?
It was some not manufactured, some created
It was
eye.
it was a created material that was placed in the eye socket, Sergeant would say. Created material. Well,
Yeah,
if we could
once
get
we
a
destroyed
sample
that,
of
light
it,
was pretty
maybe
much
that
on
we
our
could do
side.
something from it, but without it, we're kind of shooting in the dark here.
Marliano kind of scratched the back of her head. I accidentally destroyed it. I'm sorry.
He kind of said, Kane's like, oh no, I'm not blaming you, little missus, it's just sorry. I keep fucking up his accent. It's like, I'm not blaming you, little missus, it's just, I'm just stating things, if we had a sample. And he kind of stops for a moment, like realizing it's probably not helping. And Devoni says, nevertheless, the situation has been rectified. The creature is felled for the moment. Felled, and the other one, well...
We drove it off, but it's definitely not
Yes,
dead.
we do have reports that correspond to its escaping the area. We weren't able to pursue. We didn't have the personnel to. That thing was mucked up our plans. It wasn't exactly something we prepared for. But, he kind of thinks for a minute, and Quio says, but with good commanders like yourselves, we were able to deal with the situation and coordinate around it. Hirata says, still, we lost a lot of lives that we shouldn't have. Devoni nods. Yeah. Right. He says, right, you all deserve a bit of a report yourselves to the situation, right? Well, he kind of says, as of now, we're still dealing with stragglers of Chimera being sighted in the bay. As of 1700 hours, the majority of the Chimera activity in the area is somewhat subsided, though. We are currently restocking and retrofitting vessels and crew as well as we can that have minimal damage. Continuing to sweeping operations across the area. For the time being, there's a curfew of around 1800 hours. Don't worry, I know that all of you are past that at this point. It is simply just so we can make sure we keep everyone safe and keep a handle of things. But you'll be escorted back to the guild hall after this.
A moment to breathe. It'll be a good time to rest and recover.
Of course. And Devoni will kind of say, 3 of the 5 groups sent out today reported sightings of that large creature that you were talking about. The one that you said was the corpse of the Red Swell, that one. At the time, before your report, its origins were unknown to us. But the unidentified creature proceeded to assault multiple groups, completely destroying 6 of the ships we'd sent out. 2 groups, destroying nearly 2 of the groups that it encountered. This is currently under. We're currently working with the name Red Maw, but sounds like you know its actual name. And it was noted its likeness to the sea monster from the Tide Pack and Consortium lore long ago. I guess it was just that we weren't ready for that confirmation necessarily. Harada continues and says, Group Davis, your party's group is what we were using that moniker for. They reported that the unknown creature at the time, Red Maw, had destroyed 2 of their vessels before making its way towards your vessel. It seemed to engage in combat with another group of assailants in tow. Due to the attack and the conditions of the storm, it was hard to make out what happened exactly past that. However, there's a report of a large purple light stretching out of the sky and sea and exploding atop the creature. It briefly is believed that after this event, the creature receded, and your vessel was then unaccounted for and placed into MIA status until it arrived at the docks moments ago.
Well, that sounds about right. We saw that light too, and it left afterwards. It took us a while because we had to look for Breese, and we were quite damaged too.
Devoni says, would you happen to know what that light was? That seemed to cause the creature to retreat. Sasha kind of looks up.
Mariana just kind of looks down.
Sasha kind of says, no, we do not. Unfortunately, when that light hit, it hit us as well. We believe it might have been an anomaly from another third party, potentially.
Mariana would just nod, but she did look down when he asked. Yeah, it's not good, but that's what it is.
Devoni says, well, that can't be helped for the moment. Regardless, since around 1600 or so hours, the last sighting of Red Maw was believed to be far off the coast, towards going into the major portion of the swelling sea. At which point, it's dived to a depths that was deemed unpursuable for the time being, at least in our operational bounds. Irada kind of nods. Yes, unfortunately. We believe that we believe that Red Maw's absence has directly led to a downturn in the Chimera activity. And we believe they're directly connected to each other. Meaning that if we see an upturn in Chimera activity, there's a good chance Red Maw might be in the area. At least at the moment, it's our thoughts.
Did you get any reports of a ringing sound when those chimeras showed up?
So he kind of looks up. Devoni kind of says, a ringing sound. There is some reports from various groups hearing a ringing sound around the creature and the chimera. But it's faint and not everyone seems to have heard it. We were debating if it could have been a mass psychosis of sorts, but the recurrence of the incident makes us believe that there's something connected to it. Maybe it's some type of auditory sonar released from the creature for detection, or something else.
I think it's more related to when the creatures show up.
He looks over and Kane's like, yeah, I'll write it down. He starts writing down.
I'm gonna lean over to Starsha and whisper into her ear. Should we bring up what we saw, the person?
Roll me a stealth check.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a 9. No, it's... Yeah. No, that wouldn't matter. I was gonna say, am I considered in an urban area, but I don't think it'll matter for an auditory stealth. So, yeah, that's just a 9.
They kind of look over, but they don't seem to notice anything as they continue talking. As they kind of says, Devoni will kind of continue and say, that rogue sea beast, he kind of says that sea dragon, Sableye. Oh, right, that's the name we've been calling it for now. It's also not been spotted, but based on what you've now reported, I guess it's been felled. And what you brought here. That was around 1600 hours as well. The storm that accompanied the Chimera and also other sharks, the storm that accompanied it and the other sharks has also seemed to have subsided. We believe that we believe that the time it had withdrawn from the area, but now with your report, it seems like we can see at least that creature's been dealt with. So it seems, he kind of says so, seems like everything's caught up then. Thank you for your report.
Did Starship respond after I whispered?
Not yet. She seems to be keeping quiet, and she kind of looks over to you, and she'll just shake her head real quick, like no.
Okay.
Which is funny because as she does that, Devona kind of says, "No," he kind of says, "I'll go ahead and make." He kind of says, he'll look over and say, "Now, Javez, if you could you escort them? Could you escort them back to the guild hall?" And it says, "Am I not allowed to stay and spend a little bit of time?" He says, "You have a point." He kind of looks over, he's like, "You're relieved of duty as well." He'd say his name, but I don't remember off the top of my head. He's like, "You're relieved of duty as well for the moment. You should all both relax, you've done a lot today." Hirata nods. "Yes, this will be the last thing for the night." Kuya kind of says, Kuya will say, "I'll get someone else, don't worry." And they just kind of nod, and they kind of start to take their leave, like getting ready and like about to head out with you. But as Devoni and Hirata look over to say something to you, the door opens behind, and two people enter in. I need something real quick. I don't have the information I'm wanting. Here we go.
Interesting.
I'm looking for something. I'm struggling.
Anything in particular?
Yeah. Homie, guess who it is? It's Mima. No, I'm joking.
That would be like insanity. Like top 3 biggest surprises ever.
Probably, yeah.
Honestly, maybe no. I think top 3 is fitting.
It would be.
There's a few other people that would probably top that, but not many.
Starsha's dad shows up.
Anything related to Starsha, for sure. Dad, mom, other executioners. That would be crazy. If someone who was an
that would be.
executioner, but
That would be
they were
really
wearing Yoda attire, like they were a higher ranking person. That would be Oh
terrifying.
my god, that'd be insane.
Everyone in the party just starts sweating.
Well,
that'd be
Starsha
funny.
would probably be the only one to sweat at first, but seeing Starsha sweat would make everyone else.
Everyone else
She'd
sweat.
be the only one to recognize.
Alright, I got it now. Entering the room are 2 Marlis. Decorated in their attire, in their armor, with various different types of like items and like not really awards but like accolades. You can see they carry themselves one of them carries themselves quite well. He has a sense of pride. You can see almost, I would say, intent in his acts and his stance as he walks in. He seems almost like he's pondering the situation and pondering the environment he's in, almost, as he's walking in. The other one seems to be a little bit more, what's the word? He seems to be a little. He's got like his eyes darting left and right, not in like a defensive or not defensive, not in like a what is it? Not in a very like accusatory per se, but just very or like sporadic, but kind of just more like a wandering eye and gaze. He's got a slight smirk on his face, as he's like looking around a little bit, with a little bit of a cocksureness in him. You can tell. Marliana, you recognize these two.
I don't like that at all. I hate
the tall one that's decorated with, we'll say, the most accolades is your oldest brother, Ikaika.
Oh.
The shorter, well, I wouldn't say short, but the shorter one, I believe. Not too much shorter, but just slightly shorter, is your youngest, I believe, brother, Koa.
Hold on.
The others, however, roll me a knowledge Locariga, while Marliana is getting a moment to collect themselves.
Immediate hood up, head down. I don't care how
Do you have a hood?
suspicious looking it is. I have got to look down and away. Also, it's a crime. I can't remember how to spell his name off the top of my head.
Ikaika, I had to look it up too. That was what was taking me so long. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't remember how you spell it. One sec, let me pull it up. Ikaika is spelled Ikaik. It's just Ikaik. Okay.
That sounds right.
Also, one moment.
Yeah, it would be not hard to tell. Marliana's comfortability just drastically changed.
All right. Do you need a refresher of what just happened?
Me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What's the last thing you remember?
I
I'll give
remember.
you a quick little summary of what just happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
We were given our report. I told them that the creature we fought was the corpse of the Red Swell. They've been calling it the Red Maw, but that seems like new information. The Tide Pact was supposed to be watching over the corpse of the Red Swell, but clearly they didn't do a great job.
Or portions of it, seems. I guess it seems like they're not
Yeah,
noting
like,
portions of it. Yeah.
It seems like the Red Maw or whatever, I guess is that what we're calling it.
That's what
attacks
they
some
call
other
it. You know the
groups.
actual name.
Yeah, they're calling it the Red Maw, but either way, this giant creature, it attacked other ships before it attacked us, and it was reported that it got away. And as we were, I whispered to Starsha if we should bring up the leader person the
Yeah,
person we
Diazon.
saw in the waters.
But
I asked
Starsha
if
shook her
we
head
could talk
no.
about that. Yeah, and so we were about to be dismissed, which was great, and then two people just walked in. Two people that Marliana clearly recognizes and immediately goes into like protective ghost mode. I know that I'm sitting next to Starsha because I whispered into her ear
Yeah.
earlier. I'm gonna, under the table, just take a hold of like your arm or maybe your leg or something, just like squeezing in terror. Like this, I should probably roll a mood just to try and hide the fact that I'm
You can roll
terrified.
instinctual and see if you how visibly your shaking is.
Yeah, let's do instinctual. Yeah, let's do instinctual. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the summation, Jai.
Oh, thank God, that was almost a 2.
Jai? Jai?
Oh, yes.
Did you hear that?
I caught bits of it.
Do I need to get you an energy drink?
I probably should grab one.
I can get one for you.
No, you're fine. I'm closer to it.
Yeah, hello there, Alfredo. Okay. What bits did you hit? Okay, major bits. Okay, main important thing. You guys relayed your report, and everything seemed like it was okay. Everything's going fine, and then Marliana's two brothers just showed up.
Yeah.
That's the main
You have
thing.
to roll to know if they're
You have to roll to know who they are, then, because like Marliana knows who they are. Both of everyone else might not. Well, I shouldn't say everyone.
I mean,
Your
there's
team
definitely
might not.
chances
Do they
you
look
might
alike?
know who they are, but like, definitely not a guarantee. I've
What'd you
never
say,
really
Jai?
described them too well.
Do they look alike?
Do they look
Yeah,
alike?
probably.
Yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you know that they're Marliana's brothers necessarily. Also, their positions and who they are is what I meant. That's why I said roll a check.
'Cause,
Also,
the
Marliana
oldest
hasn't
brother-
really described them physically to you ever. She's described what they've done, some of what they've done before. But that's about it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into full detail on any of that.
Marliana has deliberately kept those details because you don't like talking about it, thinking about it.
I
Yeah.
feel like they probably look alike, like all siblings look alike.
There's a subtle bit of
Most-
difference.
Well, I have said before that some of the torment that Marliana went through was because she specifically looked a lot more like her mother than her other siblings did.
Yep.
Just something to keep in mind. There
Uh,
probably are similarities, for sure.
it's funny. Koa actually, this is not something you would know immediately, but Koa, well, at least not everyone in the party would know. Koa actually looks almost exactly like Pakchu, which is or Pakchow, which is Marliana's father.
The
He just
father.
looks like
That-
younger and stronger.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's,
Which is very funny and ironic, but I won't really get into why that is. You'll just see as the story unfolds. His horn is half as long, since he has had less time to develop and grow, as like his older brothers and the like. His hair is a stark white with deep blue highlights and hangs just to his shoulders. His fins start at his neck and end at the middle of his back without attaching to his tail. The fin is jagged from battle damage, and he has scars all across his back, which you wouldn't be able to see right now because of the armor he's wearing, but you would see like slightly around maybe his collarbone. But his tail is split to the last quarter of the tail, forming into two larger, thinner tails. And each tail piece has a small fin-like mermaid tail attached to it.
Interesting.
As for Ikaika, her older brother, also I think Koa is a full breed, right? Or is he a mixed breed? It doesn't actually say.
they're all full breeds except for
Okay.
me.
So Ikaika is a full breed, Marlis as well, Akuya. He has a very like pronounced rostal blade from his forehead. It is not. I mean, it is probably it's probably in his sheath. It's probably not on his head right now. It's probably in his sheath to its side because it's just easier to walk around in small places like this. It is, however, a notable rostal blade. It's not like even the short or even like a normal like horn like piercer that a regular Marlis would have. His is like a full-on blade that you can see in the hilt of it into a scabbard on his side. The blade has like a glint of white across it, and it looks almost like a longsword with a thin, wider blade portion on the back or on the sides. He is he is definitely, well, you wouldn't know this necessarily, but he is the tallest in the family. He is the tallest in the family. He is definitely, well, you wouldn't know this necessarily, but he is the tallest in the family. He is definitely, well, you wouldn't know this necessarily, but he is the tallest in the family. He is the tallest in the family. He is definitely, well, you wouldn't know this necessarily, but he is the tallest in the family. And his horn is a little bit longer, I guess you could say, comparably to Marliana's, especially considering it is a Rossel blade. He has short, silvery white hair and crystal blue eyes. He's got webbing ears, but they are also a little bit short, barely kind of poking out from his hair. And his hands and feet have sharp claws with webbed sections in between his fingers and toes. And yeah, he's got a blar. His tail is a large whale-like tail, with a shorter and longer shape portion of the fin, and he's got a set of gills on his upper or on the sides of his neck. You can see. But yes.
Almost forgot about the silver hair. The silver hair comes from our dad, Bak Chow.
Mm-hmm.
I have the pink and blue from my mother.
Interesting.
Yeah, Mariana's uncomfortability is probably palpable.
Yep. He kind of looks. They both look over, around, kind of scanning at first. Ikaika a little bit more. Oh, also, did you roll the thing? Marliana, not Marliana. Oh my.
Jai.
Jai, thank you.
Wait, what?
Vocal Regal. Do you want to know more about them? Because I was just a physical appearance. I wasn't anything else about them.
Yeah, at this point, without the roll, you wouldn't know they're my
Yeah,
siblings.
you just see physically who they are, and like a small likeness between each other, and maybe a bit of Marliana, but that's about it. You don't really know who they are. They look important.
Jai rolled a 50.
All right, you have heard of these two, Jai. You've heard of them briefly, and immediately recognize why she's holding it. She's keeping it together. You can see, but Marliana has probably gripped onto Starsha's leg a little bit under the table, and is kind of. Her hand is definitely betraying her, but her body is keeping a little bit steeled as she looks down. The first one, we'll start with the tall one. They both are obvious, they both seem to be members of the Honor Guard based on the insignia on their shoulder and chest. Ikaika, which you do know the name of, he is named Ikaika Jiao. He is right under the main leader of the Honor Guard at the moment, his Alakul. He is basically his right-hand man. He's got one of the most dignified records of the Honor Guard in history, and he's very well known in the seas, like almost alongside Alakul in terms of like not just authority, but also in terms of like activeness in like conflicts and stuff. His kind of record began with the Sunfish Fleet battle, and he's actually worked a lot with Hirata over the years. They actually have been kind of like battle brothers to a certain extent, in certain battles. Not like necessarily as much, or not in every single engagement, but definitely they've worked a lot together. So Hirata obviously has like a recognition of him when he sees him. And yeah, Ikaika is known he is definitely someone that would be sent for important tasks if Alakul could not make it. He would be the one that would be sent. The other one, that's a bit more interesting. See, you recognize the person, but you don't really see them like always a bunch. They are Koa. Koa is also in the Honor Guard, at least as far as you're aware. But mainly he doesn't really do too much with them, always. He's been in a couple of battles and skirmishes, you've heard. But for the most part, he seems to stay close to the homeland with the rest of the generals. But his battle record is not exactly seen as like a bad thing. He's definitely seen like very astute, just not as much and renowned as his older brother. He is also I think he's the youngest, or is the daughter the youngest? I can't remember.
Give me a sec.
I can pull it up.
Koa, no, the youngest daughter is younger than Koa. And then
Okay, so he's the youngest son. He's not the youngest.
He's the youngest son, but not the.
Yes. Yes, he is the
Mariana is
youngest.
definitely the youngest.
Hmm. Right, of course, yeah. He is, I also can give ages. I believe Ikaika is 26 and Koa is 22? 23.
Yep.
Yeah. Alright, so yes, they
We're all
are...
pretty close in age, but I am definitely the youngest by a good margin.
Yeah, they all, and one of the things I would say that is notable, especially about Ikaika is got a very renowned record for him being so young. So, that is definitely something of note. Any case, yeah, you know who these people are.
Yeah.
And you'd also know it is very notable that they're just walking in here like this. Because they are not, like, it's a lot for the right-hand person of the main leader of the honor guard to be present, let alone a member of the noble, I guess we could call the noble family of the Tideback. Both of them are noble family members of the Tideback, mind you. It's just... Also, is that hot water? I think that, okay.
Perhaps.
Honestly, if we wanted to, we could pause here with this reveal and then continue this later.
I'm not against it. I don't mind either way.
Yeah. The only I can kind of spoil. I mean, I won't spoil the conversation, but I can kind of spoil after this. The only thing left was you guys were gonna get to choose your ship, which I can just show you that stuff anyway. But that was gonna be the next day thing. You guys get a relaxed day along with choosing your ship, a whole day to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yay!
And pick your ship. So, we could just do that in the interim. So we'll split this into 2 parts. We'll have this and then the ship portion, and then we'll probably figure out something to do with the rest because I don't think it's gonna take that long for this conversation. It's literally this and then like a little small like funny thing. So yeah, we'll probably just find something to do. We might do like a little like, hey everyone, what was your favorite parts of like the Act 1 so far? Things like that. Like towards the end, that could be fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but well, we'll go ahead and cut this part here. So thank you all for watching for today and so far. It has been definitely fun, and I definitely think this is gonna be interesting the next session because we're gonna be opening with some fun dialogue. Marliana's family's here to say hi. Everyone's got opinions about their little sister, and also probably about her friends, and also why they're here. Quite curious, Marliana. But that's something
it
we'll
hasn't
discover.
happened yet, but Marliana is going to give Harada the biggest death glare ever. Harada said that they weren't interested in coming after her, and then my 2 brothers, or 2 of my... 2 of
the
brothers
funniest
still
thing
around,
is
so...
gonna happen because like I won't spoil it, but like I can't wait for the death stare, but like you might be surprised to find some things out about their involvement here is all I could say. But yeah, things are definitely heating up at the end of Act 1 here, and I assure you it's about to be a roller coaster for the next several parts. So stay tuned for that. In any case, thank you all for watching once again. If you would like to play Dreamforge yourself, try it, of course, try it out, maybe DM or play. You can do so by going to the description box below, joining the Discord, and notifying in the Alpha Players chat if you'd like to join. Or even post your own game if you'd like to try it. So, yes, of course, you can also see our other socials for various art and things like that for the characters and the development of the game. And updates are there. Of course, remember, we will be at Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio on we'll be there the entire week portion, but we'll definitely be there doing playtests Thursday from 1:30 up, I believe, to 4:30, if not 5. So meet us in the Pub area, right up on like the inner portion, right out near it's in the convention center, but it's like in the hallway portions of it. And yeah, we might have another one there later that week. We'll have videos coming out of talking about that. So yeah. But in any case, toodles.